Hello, FPL managers. We are back for a Friday night special. I'm very excited. Why? Well, it's triple captain night, isn't it? It's Everton versus Spurs. I'm joined by Seb. Seb, how are you doing? And is Kane your captain?
Yeah, hey, I'm good, thank you. It is kind of captained, but I've not triple captained him.
Yeah.
So, as we were discussing just beforehand, is there a chance that that's actually a disadvantage somehow? Are we going to be sat here going, please don't score points, which feels the very wrong way to play FPL, but maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So we were looking for, is Harry Kane, for the first time ever, going to be a player that's 200% plus in effective ownership? Now, I'm not sure if I've got that number, but I do know in the top 10k, his effective ownership is 216%. At my
Wow.
rank, he's 181%. So I'm thinking he's probably not going to go into the game week at 200% plus overall, knowing at my rank he's 181. So yeah, hopefully we can celebrate every goal that goes in. Good news for those that went a bit differential. Those that went, Captain Son shouldn't really be differential, but it feels like it is. Looks like he's going to be playing down the middle tonight. It's going to be a top two by Spurs. We like that if you're on Son. The width is going to be Reguilon. The width is going to be Aurier. Playing a back three. It could be a back five. But it means we could see two down the middle for Spurs, Seb. We should like that because Son has been very wide. He's been chalk on his boots. He's had a lot of defensive responsibility recently.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're talking about some stats on the Scoutcast this week, and he's very much become the creator rather than the goal scorer. His numbers have pretty much switched in that direction. And me and you were talking off air about whether Son down the middle, anyone who's gone for him captain, is this a good thing? Firstly, I'm not convinced that not captaining Kane was the move. That might be because I'm not seeing something. Like if someone has done it, they've seen something I haven't. Fair enough. That's probably why you're better ranked than me. But I think Kane was not only, the safe move as people like to put it, but he is just the move that is going to yield the most points, no matter ownership, I think.
Yeah.
Even with Son down the middle, I don't know. Because so we were disagreeing earlier in the season when
Yeah.
Son was more central. Was he a better option than Kane? He was certainly cheaper, midfielder, goals, more points. But I think at the same time, Kane was also dropping deeper. So if we
Yeah.
see that tonight, maybe Son is better tonight. But with the way Kane has really stepped up, with his volume of shots has gone up, his accuracy has gone up as well. I wonder if even with Son down the middle, all else being equal, Kane possibly outscores him.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to earlier in the season, Seb, and I know I had Son and not Kane for quite a while. So Son's points must have been matching Kane's or bettering them for me to have felt like that. I mean, it could have been down to budget. It could have been down to only three forward spots. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting tonight. I mean, we're assuming Spurs are going to score loads of goals. We can't forget, they've looked out of sorts. And Everton, they haven't looked brilliant at the back, but they've not been conceding many. They've been conceding chances, just not goals. They look like they've gone to a back four tonight. Luka Dean is playing as a left back by the looks of it. We saw in the week they played Monday Night Football, they went with a back five. They had Coleman and Dean. Now Coleman misses out tonight. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one. Holgate actually played in midfield on Monday night as a sort of like a DM, but I think he'll be back at centre back tonight. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how both teams line up. I have got kick-off. I don't know what timestamp you're on, Seb. I can't see my timestamp yet because they've literally just kicked off.
I am 20 seconds, 21, 22, 23. So we're possibly, maybe 60 seconds behind the live, but not too bad compared to normal, I think.
Great.
And looking at how they've lined up, it does look like Everton are in a back four. Interestingly, I was wondering, Spurs have gone with a back three here, maybe unexpectedly. Do you think Mourinho thought Everton would go with a back three, so he would go a back three? And now we've got that interesting position where I think if Everton are a 4-2-3-1, give or take, 4-4-1-1, something like that, I wonder if 3-5-2-ish versus 4-2-3-1, the 4-2-3-1 probably comes out on top in the midfield, but nowhere else. A back three, provided the wing backs come back to a back five, can probably handle the attacking assets from Everton. And then you would think Son and Kane is a good matchup for effectively two centre-backs and two full-backs there, if wing-backs bomb on. So I wonder if tonight is very much down to, if they don't change systems, of course, how those sets of wing-backs integrate into the effective systems.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see. And I wonder why Mourinho did change it. Is it because Everton had a back five on Monday night when they got a clean sheet at Brighton? Is it because for the last 17 games they've had a back four and they've not looked great defensively? Or is it because they've got Man City in the Cup and he wants to go with a back five against Man City for the Cup final and this is him trialling that formation?
That's fair. I mean, I was looking at some stats in the week about Spurs over the season and then how they've changed recently in the last few, just to see if there was something there that we could do something other than Kane and Son. Oh, I have Lloris, by the way. I went Lloris.
Good lad. I've got Hugo as well, and again, he's a bit of a differential this week, Seb. His ownership's low.
Quite possibly. So what I'm about to tell you is going to prove that I don't know what I'm doing and I shouldn't have got Lloris. So over the season, off the top of my head, Spurs are 11th for both XG and XGC.
Right.
We know they've slightly overperformed their XG and overperformed their XGC too. But that's fair enough. They've got good attackers. They should overperform their XG. That's the point.
Yeah.
In the last 6, Spurs are actually 3rd for XG and they are still overperforming it, but they have dropped right down to 15th for the defensive side of it. So we're saying, Kane and Son.
Yeah.
With a switch up in formation, maybe, who knows, it's changed a bit. But I wonder if we would expect more points at that end of the pitch, which is where everyone's got their picks in Kane and Son. And maybe picking Lloris wasn't that smart after all because they're not looking too hot. Maybe he makes saves. I'll go with that one.
Yeah, he's gonna save a pen now, isn't he? And I mean, I've also got Hugo, but I guess I've been on him for a while, so I haven't made that decision to go with him. But I mean, you're looking at Spurs defenders, and I'm sure you touched on this on Scoutcast. Like Reguilon was probably the only one we could go. He's absolutely nailed for both games. Ben Davies is injured, and then Hugo Lloris is your other options. So maybe the goalkeeper transfer, although not a sexy transfer, will prove to be a good shout. Interestingly, with the formation today in the back three, we're going to see Ndombele having a little bit more license. I feel like in a midfield 2, which is what we've seen in the last 17 games, he's been a little bit restricted. And if you remember Ndombele from his time in France, the guy likes to get forward. Like, he likes to play between the lines where he can. He can play number 10. So yeah, it'll be nice to see him with a bit of license, don't you think, Seb?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was very, very impressive in France, and we possibly didn't see that at first at Spurs. Admittedly, I think Mourinho or Ndombele himself has managed to bring more out of his game recently, and I think he's become quite important for them. But yeah, maybe in more of that, when he first joined, was it more of maybe that box-to-box transitional player?
Yeah.
And he's maybe slipped into more of a number 10 role. I know Lucas Moura has played there recently, but in the majority of the time for Spurs this season, possibly that more advanced player as opposed to the box-to-box role. Maybe Højbjerg coming in has really helped that. Lo Celso can do both roles as well. So whenever I look at this Spurs team, I really think, just listing their players there, you're like, this is a really good team.
Yeah.
Maybe apart from some parts of the defence. Why aren't they doing better?
I know. I can't deal. Do you know what? Like, I've heard a few Spurs fans, Toby, who is you often watch on this channel, who doesn't like doing Spurs games when we're doing a Scoutcast match day, which is totally fair enough. They're his team. He wants to enjoy the match in silence. But he goes, it's not Mourinho's fault. We've had these players haven't been performing for a while. We've got such a low budget and all of that. And I'm like, mate, you've got arguably the world's best or second best striker. You've got 2 world-class attacking players. You've got strength and depth throughout. You've got the French captain in goal. You've got England centre-backs. You've got, brilliant midfielders. I'm sorry, Mourinho's not getting the best out of them. On paper, this is a bloody good team. Oh, and by the way, you've got Gareth Bale, who doesn't even get a look in, that on his day, you've got Dele Alli, that on his day, there's so many players that aren't getting anywhere near this team that would walk into most. That's my take.
And I mean, I'm not claiming they're going to be up there with City or Liverpool of 18 months ago, but I definitely feel like they should be closer. Was it a few years ago when Leicester won the league? That season, I would argue, if anything, it was there for Arsenal. Arsenal were top at Christmas and looking quite good, actually. And then in the end, I think it was probably Tottenham that maybe ran Leicester closest. And that really felt like the season that it was Poch at the time. They would actually finally win a league and these players would come through. I
was there at Stamford Bridge when Leicester won the league. So it was Chelsea, Spurs, and Spurs had to win to still be involved in the title race, and Chelsea got a 3-3 draw, maybe it was a 4-3 win, I can't remember. Hazard scored a worldie, and it was the incident which had loads of yellow cards. There was like an eye gouge from Dembele on Diego Costa, maybe. It was a real ruckus. It was an amazing game. The Battle of the Bridge, I think it was dubbed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was amazing, and you're right, that was Spurs' chance to win the title. But then it's some of those players still, but then also it's the same group of players, Seb, that got to a Champions League final like 18 months ago. 2 years ago.
Although I would argue that, take nothing away from them, they got to a Champions League final.
But Ajax weren't the toughest semi-final opposition, and it was Man City in the quarters.
But it was the Man City VAR game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sterling was it Sterling or Aguero last minute?
Was it Lucas Moura hat-trick?
Yeah.
I forget, there were 2 VAR instances, weren't there? I don't know if one was one of Lucas's goals, and then like you said, the last minute goal from Man City ruled out. I mean, hey, Man City, should have just beaten them fairly, right? That's how it's meant to work. So I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but if you replayed that Champions League several times, I don't know if Tottenham would be in the final every time.
Yeah, fair one. It's 0-0 with 6 minutes in. I'm seeing Michael Oliver, who is, of course, refereeing tonight, booking Højbjerg already. Højbjerg got to play 85 minutes on a yellow.
Yeah, dragging Sigurdsson back there, I think.
I'm glad that's been given, Seb, because it is a yellow card, but often in the first 5 minutes or 20 minutes of a game, that's not given because it's early in a game and refs go, I give you a little, when we spoke about it on Sunday, didn't we? But yeah, it's a yellow card, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You know the ones that really get me? Those ones that are not necessarily straight through on goal, because then that probably is a straight red. Yeah. When someone's breaking away in the midfield and there's definitely going to be something come of this, and they just nip their heels or they just tug them down and they go down. In the laws of the game, it's an absolutely perfectly fair foul. It's a tactical foul. It's good play. Yeah. I wouldn't hate if those became like red cards or something else, just because it is the ultimate unsportsmanlike. It's like they're going to create an opportunity here, and you are just taking one for the team, taking a yellow.
It's the Busquets foul.
I feel like we should just push that out of the game.
Yeah.
Like if you can't catch that player and tackle them fairly, at least attempt to, you probably shouldn't be trying.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah, it is. It's literally, if there's a phrase of sort of taking one for the team, that's it. But it's like, it's unsporting, to say the least.
And to be clear, when Stuart Dallas does that against Liverpool on Monday, I'm all for it. No red cards.
Of course. Looking forward to that one on Monday night. That will be a good game. And there'll be quite a few. Anyone in the chat, let us know, guys, that anyone that hasn't captained Kane or Son. Is there any Lucas captainers out there? If so, he's on the bench. That's unlucky. Is there anyone that's gone Reguilon or Lloris? Or maybe you've gone, I'm going to go Salah because I just back him to score loads of points this weekend. Or I'm going to go Vardy or whatever. So let us know if anyone's gone outside of Spurs. I don't think there'll be many. I really don't. But I'm really interested to know.
I want a proper a Reguilon pick. Or you've mentioned Vardy, Iheanacho. A proper left field one. Would have probably come off as well. The last few weeks, those have been the picks.
Who was your transfer in this week then, Seb? You said Hugo Lloris. Did you go with anyone else or was it just the one?
No, just you. Well, so I actually missed the deadline. I was, I did my Lloris transfer last night.
Yeah.
And then was thinking maybe I'll do another. It would have been for a -4. We're just watching Spurs on the attack here. Oh, not really came to anything. Ball over looking for Son, who is looking to get in behind.
He's definitely central.
Absolutely. You definitely nearly called me Tobes.
Yeah, I did. I saw someone in the chat say, "Where's Tobes?" And I was reading that as I said it.
Good excuse.
He's watching the lounge by himself. He didn't want the disturbance. Carry on. So yeah, it was Son down the middle.
That's pretty much it. Son down the middle, looking to get into a space. That ball over the top didn't quite come off, but you'd fancy it maybe tonight. Everton don't push the highest, but there still seems to be a little bit of space for in there, and they're pressing okay. Got Kane and out to Oreo on the right hand side.
Pickford with his feet gives it straight to Ndombele. That's a simple pass from Pickford. Really, I know my anti-Pickford campaign has started and we're 9 minutes in, but that won't be the first error he makes tonight. Lingard triple captain. I am Feezy Music. You've gone Lingard triple captain. Fair play.
Oh, wow.
Gundogan captain, Nahal. Who's your vice, Nahal? Because you're going to need it. I don't think Gundogan's starting. Cavani captain. Nice. I vice captain Bowen. Okay. I benched
Did you bring in Bowen?
I didn't. I went Lingard.
Okay. Reasonable.
Yeah, I did. I was indulging the Bowen chat to be on trend, but it was Lingard if I could afford it, and I sold Gundogan to Lingard, and I took a 4-point hit and sold Bamford, who has very good fixtures coming up after the next two, but I do have Rafinha already for Iheanacho. Leicester's run is so good.
Yeah, fair.
I had to make that move and saved $1 million to therefore afford Lingard. Otherwise, I was selling Gundogan to Bowen, and I just thought, nah. So another 4-point hit. Finn Evans, Danny Welbeck captain. Sorry, Seb. Last one, Danny Welbeck captain from Finn.
Oh, so good. I want that to work just cause.
Yeah. So, what do you reckon to the moves, getting rid of Bamford, Seb? Because I was very reluctant to do that. I saw myself finishing the season with him, but it was more a case of feeling like I needed Iheanacho, and I didn't want to sell Watkins because he's got a couple of good fixtures in the immediate. And because I had Rafinha, I just thought, do I need double leads?
I mean, our next two fixtures aren't great. Bamford's numbers have been pretty poor recently, relatively, of course.
Yeah.
Leeds' attacking threat has been poorer. Defensive solidity has been better. So just a bit of a shift in either the way we're playing or more just how we're being forced to play by the people we're playing against. And yeah, like you say, I think Iheanacho is hard to avoid. It's possibly a move I would have made myself, Bamford to Iheanacho for a -4. Like I said, they missed the deadline. Did Lloris last night for Pope. Seemed a pretty sensible move. Also means I've then got Martinez for 33, which is fine when Lloris doesn't play, so that's all good.
Sure.
But yeah, I missed the deadline because I was writing my my scout article. And like was looking at the clock at about 6 o'clock when I was just like finishing it off, going, okay, cool, finish this, then go and make a decision on what I'm going to do. And the next time I looked up, it was about 6:45. I was like, oh no.
So what was the second move you were going to make?
I kind of hadn't decided. I need to put some time aside to think about it, but possibly Bamford, Iheanacho. Still don't have Lingard, do have Gundogan. So, I mean, the two transfers you made were open to me.
Yeah.
The reason I opted for Lloris as opposed to one of those in the first place was I don't think Lloris is a better pick than one of those two, but I have Nick Pope and Martinez. Martinez fine for 33 against Man City. Yeah, he could make a bunch of saves, but I don't know if he's going to make enough to make up for the fact that Villa aren't great at the back now and will concede some goals. And Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bamford, Rafinha, maybe he's injured, maybe he's fit, all not perfect, but are acceptable if I was maybe not going to have a goalkeeper if Nick Pope was out.
Yeah.
And also both Martinez and Pope have relatively poor fixtures toward the end of the season. So it just felt like an opportunity to, if I was going to get Lloris, get him for the double, hold him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Martinez can play 33, and then I can cry about Lingard next week.
Yeah, nice. Fair enough. That will make sense. And what's your article on, and when will we see that on the Scout website? Next week, I guess.
I think it might be tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
It's obviously down to David and the editors whether it's any good and how much they have to fix it to make me sound smarter than I am. But I was writing about something that we spoke about on the Scoutcast this week. So just decision making in FPL and how I mentioned like the book Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman.
Yeah.
So just how we can like take some learnings from that and apply it to life in general, but FPL specifically. It's all about making, those instinctive decisions versus ones you have to think about and how we can fall into traps with cognitive bias and whatnot. And I think that's the thing we see a lot in FPL, right? We were talking, Joe mentioned on the Scoutcast about why do people ignore, people like Mateo Vidja, who has good, decent fixtures, I think, at the time, good stats. A few people did pick him fair play, possibly just because he's so cheap. And we take things like price and I guess attach a bit too much value to them and go, oh, well, an expensive player must be good because expensive players score points. That's why they're expensive.
Yeah.
So I won't give the captain to, for example, a Lingard because he's cheap.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, that probably works quite well because they've just been priced. It should be quite accurate, although there will be some discrepancies. But especially at this stage in the season, price is probably a really bad indicator of, who's playing well. We look at Gundogan. What's he going to be next year? 8 million or so? If you're looking at it and going, I'm not going to captain him because he's 5.5 million and De Bruyne is 11 million. Well, it's a bias we fall into because our brain is a little bit lazy. It likes the easy way out and it goes, well, high price means good player, therefore captain, which obviously when we then examine that, it probably doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Yeah,
I love that. That's really interesting about you say about the priced players because I always see that with captains. So, for example, this week, Leicester have West Brom. Iheanacho's banging form. No one's captaining them because they're all gone to Spurs, sure. But if there was no Spurs double, I guarantee Vardy would have had more people would have given the armband to Vardy than Iheanacho if ownership was the same. And it's like, one of them's in form, one of them's not, but one of them's double the price, therefore we'll give it to Vardy. It's like, Iheanacho is probably the better shout.
And it just feels a bit better though, right? When you put the captain on Vardy, you feel safer.
You feel safer.
And it's just that...
It's ridiculous.
It's that... it's hard to describe. It's an intangible, and it serves us well in most life. Most of our life, we don't have to think about crossing the road. We do it safely. We know what to look out for because we've learned that over the course of our life.
Yeah.
We've also learned that expensive things are good things and therefore Vardy is better than Iheanacho. It's when it comes to FPL and whatnot that maybe our instincts aren't always the best suited. Of course, there are caveats and there are some FPL players who are very good at it that have got instincts that are trained on those things and possibly one of the reasons they're very good.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really interesting topic. And I think the funniest bit as well is that I totally am one of those people who tries to give the captain to an expensive player. So it goes to show that, you can read about it and write about it all you want, but these are very, very powerful things and they're hard to avoid.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Guys in the chat, we've got G-Wiz with us tonight. As always, G-Wiz, thank you for joining us. Pleasure as always. And G-Wiz is one of the administrators, I don't know if that's the right term, who if you're like making fake goal shouts, he'll boot you out. And he's already done it a couple of times tonight. Also, just so you know, we're not on a massive lag tonight. And also, just so you know, if we see like goal in the chat, we're ignoring it anyway and reacting to what we're watching. So don't play your games. Come on. It's more fun if we just react to what we see, isn't it? That's why you're watching, hopefully. I'm hoping many of you have probably got the TV on and you're muting it and you're listening to us, which is brilliant. For those that aren't watching and doing something else, great to have you with us. I'm just seeing Ndombele and Godfrey with a little, oh, well, that's interesting. Ndombele has gone down just like Son went down the other day. What do you make of that, Seb?
I've just caught the end of it. He's holding his throat, isn't he? I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't know if he's been caught or not. He looks okay. I guess it's one of those, maybe not dissimilar to the thing we were mentioning earlier with the red card. If you feel it, you let the ref know because that's the only way it goes in your favour,
Yeah. Ndombele looks like he's just got shot. Jose needs, I'm just texting Toby. Ndombele looks like he's just got shot. Jose needs, because I know it'll wind him up, Jose needs to sort this out. It's all him. that'll get a nibble.
What have you made of the game so far? I mean, we've obviously spoken about a lot of stuff that isn't the game. I don't think I've seen a shot yet.
No, we've not seen a shot, have we? We've seen a little bit of playing around from the back from Pickford. We've seen Everton sort of be quite neat and tidy with their passing, but no goal method. I have seen Richarlison looking isolated up front a few times. I've seen a few long balls and I've gone, oh, okay, it's Richarlison and 5 defenders. Not Richarlison and 3, Richarlison and 5. It's often a back 5 when they haven't got the ball. And I just wonder if James and Siggy can get close enough to him.
Yeah, we're seeing, so with Tottenham have got the ball at the back at the moment and Everton are pressing relatively lightly to be fair, although Spurs have kicked it straight out of play. That's Højbjerg. James was up with Richarlison there, kind of forming a front two, but not really putting that much pressure on.
Yeah.
And I guess, despite tactical instructions, his natural inclination is going to be to drop into that hole and feed it through, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then Richarlison also likes to pull out into space. Sharko.
Sharko's with us tonight. Sorry, he's getting tangled in my wire. Say hello, Sharko. There you go. He's joining me for the evening. Just putting him on his chair.
Has he got a chair?
He's got a chair, yeah. There you go.
So good.
Here we go. This is the Sharko setup. He's making himself comfy, look.
Oh, mate, that's better than my setup.
That's his box of toys. Yeah.
So good.
Look, he's getting comfy. Oh, no, he's going to just itch now. Yeah, so it's a little tour. What else have I got? I've got an Italy flag covering a bag of dog food. I've got some more dog food behind that. And look, that's Frank Lampard there. Frank Lampard drawing, painting.
What do you make of the shouts for him to be England under-21 manager?
I want a little bit more. Right, this doesn't sound fair, but I want a little bit more ambition from him. I know it's a good job. I know Gareth was there and he got promoted. I feel like Frank can walk into Palace this summer and have a good Premier League club with a bit of money and a bit of a revamp. They've got 14 players out of contract, Palace. It's still London-based. I think Jody Morris for the England under-21 role, who was with Frank on the touchline, bringing through a lot of the youth players at Chelsea, former academy coach at Chelsea.
Well, he was Lampard's boss, I guess, when they were at Chelsea, weren't they?
Yeah. So I like Jody Morris. And he was with Frank at Derby. I just think that England under-21 job, unless he thinks he's going to be promoted to the England job one day, which I don't think it will be. I don't think that's always going to be the stepping stone. It doesn't work out like that. I want to see him in the Premier League managing week in, week out. I think he's a bit too old to go it slow down with the international. Like, yeah, AD Boothroyd, sure, he's not the oldest, but he's been there, done that and failed, and then got the England under-21 manager's job. And Southgate had been there and done it, a few jobs. We remember him managing Middlesbrough, get them to in the Europa League, UEFA Cup final, I think. But yeah, I want Frank week in, week out for a bit until he goes international.
Fair. I mean, how solid are the rumours? Are they just people putting two and two together, or is there actually something in it? Because you say you want more ambition from Frank.
From today, it seems like they've started. I mean, I was looking at the Palace manager odds the other day because I've said since he left Chelsea, he'll be managing, because obviously knowing Roy Hodgson's out of contract, knowing he'll want to be in and around London because of his wife's work and kids and stuff. Tom Davies getting in the book by the looks of it. Fowler and Ndombele. Fierce competition there in the midfield between those two. I think he was 7-1 for the Palace job. So, it wasn't long odds for that at all. That may have changed in the last week or two when I last looked. But yeah, I still think there's a very good chance he doesn't go for the England under-21s. I think he might just bide his time.
Yeah, reasonable.
I don't think it would be his preferred option, put it that way. I think if you offered him the Everton job, okay, maybe not Palace, but offered him a top 10 Premier League club all day long, he takes that over England under 21s.
Oh yeah, I think everyone would. I wonder if obviously he got the Chelsea job for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I wonder if that arguably came ever so slightly too soon.
Yeah.
Oh, Everton are in here. Richarlison, good save from Lloris. I think James laid him up.
Oh, okay.
He could. Do you reckon? I don't know if you're about to see this. I wonder if Richarlison could have carried it a bit further. He really did look in,
hits it early,
and then set himself for like that curler. I wonder if he could have given himself a better opportunity.
He did well to find that amount of space, didn't he, Seb? He's got 3 centre-backs there. I mean, it's a cracking ball from James, but he will pick that pass with his eyes closed, James.
It wasn't a terribly difficult save for Lloris in the end. Like, good save, but he just had to get down and palm it away.
Yeah, and he hits it well with Richarlison. Goes for that. He often goes for that sort of Thierry Henry far post for Richarlison, and he likes drifting left. We often see Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing slightly further right and Richarlison left, or if it's a front three, when it was a front three, it was always Richarlison on the left. James, that ball was obviously good. He played a pass on Monday night, Seb, against Brighton, was out of this world. It was James at his best, and you just watch that and go, that's poetry in motion. He is absolutely, in terms of playing between the lines and finding that pass, him and KDB, I mean, KDB, arguably number one, sure, but James isn't that far behind. Now KDB's got loads of other good stuff to his game, which makes him a far better player, the world's best, arguably in his position. But James can pick a pass like pretty much anyone else in the league, if not better.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Like you say, I think KDB has a better all-round package and there's other things he can do better. But in terms of if you just ask both of them to find a pass, there probably wouldn't be too much in it.
Yeah.
The thing that I really liked about KDB the other night, when he was playing, obviously, up front, I guess, as opposed to in his midfield position, there was less of the passing and he was taking people on. Now, I'm not going to say he's the best dribbler in the world. I think he's quicker than he looks. And I quite enjoyed that he did manage to beat a few people one-on-one. And there was that chance he had where classic KDB this year, he didn't quite finish it.
And he did all the hard work.
It was a really good run.
From the halfway line.
It was a run you wouldn't associate with a passer, a crosser, a midfield number 10. I don't think you'd ever think, he's got that dribbling in his locker.
He doesn't look quick, but he's one of those where you go, he covers the ground quick. It's one of those, like he hasn't got the quickest running style on the eyes. He's always red cheeked.
Like such hard work. It looks like such hard work. It looks like he's trying
trundling.
Like you say, he actually does cover ground well.
Yeah.
But it looks like he has to try so hard to do it. Unlike, I don't know, like Theo Walcott in his pomp, when he just eats up the ground and it didn't even look like he was trying.
Yeah. KDB is a trundler, not a glider. Speaking of pace, again on Monday night, Brighton were pretty good and Everton were woeful, but the Everton defence was having to work hard. Godfrey was playing, I can't remember if he was centre-back or right centre-back, and Richarlison definitely hits that early. I'm seeing the replay now. He could have taken another touch, but I guess he felt like it was set so well for him.
The pass again from that angle was awesome.
Wasn't it? Godfrey, unbelievably quick. And then I checked it out. He's the fastest in the Everton team. And when you look at miles per hour or kilometres an hour in best in the league, often there's those players that are forwards, Mbappe or Werner or whoever. But often you get so many centre backs featuring in those sort of top 10 charts. And again, the recovery pace for a defender, Kyle Walker's another prime example. But Godfrey is just absolutely rapid. I was really impressed with his pace.
I guess the one thing to keep in mind when you see those stats is that obviously someone like a central midfielder is always going to have less room to start, breaking into a full sprint. Whereas a centre back chasing back,
he's got 50 yards.
That is your 60-metre sprint, which you might measure pace on. So but I agree.
And likewise, number 9s often get it right, or wide forwards.
But if you're going to come up against those players, I guess you need quicker centre backs.
Oh, Seb, I think we've had a bit of action. I'm going to come to you first. My eyes are off the screen, but let me know what you see.
I'm just in it bounce around at the moment, but Kane has headed it down to the middle and we have Son on the edge of the area. There's a lot of Everton players around though, so maybe a handball shout? Maybe not. If you hadn't said something was happening, I don't know. There was a shot that hit an Everton player, possibly on the arm or chest. But nothing so far about on the left. Ball comes into the box. Oh, Harry Kane's got it. We know what happens here. Harry Kane finishes it. A ball in from the left. I'm not sure where the Everton defence are. Harry Kane almost miscontrols it, but lays it up quite nicely for himself in doing so. Finishes with his left foot in the far corner, which is never in doubt.
It's a really nice finish, isn't it? Who gets the assist? Was it a Reguilon assist, maybe? It comes in from the left.
Wasn't Reguilon. It was a right foot. I didn't quite catch who it is, so you might get the replay here now.
If it was a right foot, it definitely weren't Reguilon. He's pretty one-footed. Okay, is it?
Has that come off someone in the middle? I don't know if it came off an Everton head or Son was it? Oh no, it's off an Everton head.
Yeah, is it off Holgate? The ball comes in from the right. Is it Sissoko?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Or Ndombele. It's one of them.
They haven't shown me an angle where I can see the cross again since it went in.
It's a really nice finish though with the left foot, isn't it? Right in the corner. Pickford's got no chance on that.
He almost miscontrols it at first. I think he lays it too far off himself for what he wanted. But then it turns out he's opened up this space that he can just lash it into the far corner. It's almost tough on Pickford because Pickford goes to the tight side. Yeah. And because the ball pops out so far, there's just this great angle for him to aim for.
Actually gets really close to it. But Kane finds himself, off the back of a bad touch, a huge amount of space, right? What's he doing with that amount of space? I'm keen to see the replay again. But likewise, let us know if you know who got the assist in the chat. I mean, I'll just check the FPL app. I mean, it's probably not on just yet. Oh, no. They haven't given an assist yet. They've given Kane the goal.
So it came off an Everton head, so I'm wondering if they're going to be doing the whole...
But usually they give the assist for that because the ball was heading in that direction. It was a flick off an Everton head, wasn't it? I think it will be given. And Ndombele, they've just tweeted.
Ndombele, cool. There.
No one's got Ndombele. That's good.
No, indeed. He's been all over at the moment as well. He was on the right-hand side earlier.
Yeah, we called that. Bit more freedom today.
Oh, so a long ball... Pickford. A long ball into the box, which is looking for Kane. I think the defence have probably got this covered. Pickford comes, and to his credit, he comes and he keeps coming.
Why is he coming though?
Yep. The issue in that situation normally is when a goalkeeper stops. He comes and he keeps coming, but then he makes such a mess of it and possibly gets a bit lucky, and then very much just puts a Pickford boot through it to get rid of it.
He challenges two defenders to get to that ball. It's like probably 12 yards from his goal, maybe more because it's on the angle. Oh dear. Loads in the chat letting us know it's Ndombele. Yeah, it is. They have tweeted. Cheers. So it was the app that didn't have it, but then the tweet did recognise it. So yeah, there we go. 1-0, and many of you might have a Luca Dean wipeout, or there's quite a few with Dean. I've got Dean. Yeah, I've got him on my bench though. I'm hoping he doesn't come on.
One of the other moves I was considering was Dean to Ricardo Pereira. Your joy in him last weekend, and then on the Scoutcast, Tom was mentioning him, and Tom's a very good manager, so listen to that. But again, I possibly wouldn't have made that one. I think I had some other pressing issues, but it's one I've got my eye on.
Nice. I'm seeing the cross coming in on the replay, and Ndombele definitely does well, but it 100% takes a knock off Michael Keane, but it's so slight. And actually, that first touch from Kane wasn't bad. It was behind him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, looks like there's been another little bit of action. My eyes are off the chat because I'm going to come to Seb, who's going to update us. But there's definitely been an incident.
I've just had Pickford being closed down, so I thought it might have been that. But Pickford's cleared it, and giant surprise, Everton have lost the ball. Take it back. Everton have got it coming forward with Sigurdsson on the left into a lot of space. Luca Dean looking for the overlap, although Sigurdsson has driven it through. Ball into the edge of the area, and that might be a penalty. Hammers has been taken down by... I want to say Højbjerg. I'm not entirely certain.
Oh, he's on a yellow, Højbjerg.
Oh, no, sorry. Reguilon. Take it back. It was Reguilon.
Oh, it's definitely a pen, though, isn't it? He comes in from behind him.
He just comes into the back of him, yeah.
Michael Oliver's got a brilliant view of that as well.
That's a nice cutback from Sigurdsson there. Wow, nice spot on Hammers. And does Hammers kick the floor there? Rather, I think he does get fouled, but does he actually kick the floor before the player?
Yes, but he does. He does kick the floor, but he also... gets fouled, yeah.
I've got an angle from behind him here. So I would almost argue that Hammers sees that coming and drags his left foot along the floor. He gets ploughed into, so fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he's waiting for that. I think he earns that penalty rather than getting fouled.
I see what you mean. And it's a good shooting opposition, but you'd rather a pen. Yeah. Sorry, good shooting position.
So we're going to have this Lloris penalty save. Sigurdsson stepping up, and it has not happened. Sigurdsson slots it into the corner. Lloris goes the other way.
I didn't expect it. Why? Because it's Siggy, and he's up there with the best penalty takers. You don't see, and against his old club, of course, he will enjoy that one. Yeah. And again, when he was at Spurs, he was pretty much just there for set pieces. I mean, he wasn't there for set pieces. That's all he got. He struggled. He was in and out the 11 a lot at Spurs.
Was he signed at the same time they had Van der Vaart? And it was kind of that, he can't have the 10 because Van der Vaart's got it. Therefore, he just either comes on the wing or comes on in the last 10 minutes. It was a weird one because he was so very, very good before that.
He was amazing at Swansea.
And they spent a fair bit of money on him too.
Yeah, he was good at Reading, good at Swansea. Then he went back to Swansea. I think he went back to Swansea after Spurs. And then Everton went and paid a whole load of money for him. The transfer fee Everton paid was pretty outrageous from memory. It was like 35, 40 million. It was like Swansea cashed in there. It was a big, big money. A lot of soft pen chat. I would agree. It may have been a bit on the soft side, but it was definitely a pen.
Yeah, I'd call it a penalty earned rather than a penalty like given, fouled, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah,
Hammer's definitely earned that, but it was a penalty for me.
And also remember VAR look at everything and there was no delay there. It was pen. Like they would have looked, and if there was any doubt, it would have been, okay, Michael, you need to go check this, look at the screen, or we're going to look at the replays. But no, it was pretty quick fire.
Yeah.
So we got 1-1, half an hour in, and there's been pretty much zero goal mouth action other than a goal and another goal. We'll take that.
So let's have a little look. So far, I have 3 shots for Tottenham, 3 for Everton. 1 on target for Tottenham, that'll be the Kane goal. 2 for Everton, obviously the penalty and the Richarlison chance.
Sorry, yeah.
And yeah, I don't remember the third for either side, to be completely honest with you.
They were nowhere near the goal, that's for sure. Oh, they've got a free kick here, Everton, which Sigurdsson, James, Luca Dean and Richarlison will all be eyeing up. Now, Richarlison took one in this same position 2 games ago, and he said to all these brilliant free kick takers, do one, I'm taking it like a spoiled little baby, and it went nowhere near the goal and it was rubbish. And I was thinking, Richarlison, what are you doing? Sigurdsson, brilliant. Luca Dean and James. Now, it's not the right side for James and Luca Dean, but Siggy has to take this. I mean, have you seen it, Seb?
Well, Sigurdsson and James appear to be the 2 that are over it, and I think I'd agree with you. It's the right angle for Sigurdsson, and I don't know if he's better at James than at them. It's a hard thing to judge, they're so rarely scored, but you'd expect Sigurdsson to take this. It looks like he's the only one left over the ball. James and Dean have really stepped back from it.
Richarlison early did pick the ball up, I noticed, as he did 2 games ago, and it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. All that talent.
I think he's been told to do one.
Yeah.
Siggy takes it straight into the wall, going for the far left-hand corner, but not nearly enough elevation.
Yeah. Lloris definitely read that. Like, he left a huge amount of space, but then made the early step before the ball was even struck, which you often see keepers doing, and I don't like, because then if you do go keeper side, the weight's on the wrong foot.
I guess, is that one of those things, and like asking, not telling, is that one of those things that we only ever see it pointed out when a goal is conceded?
Yeah, we do.
So we only ever think, it's a bad thing, but actually if it works 90% of the time and we just don't notice.
Yeah. I mean, they can't get over to that side. They've left lots of space unless they move early. If the ball is hit well from someone like a Sigurdsson, you probably can't get over if it's in the corner. Unless you're Mendy or Courtois and you're 6'6".
I mean, all else being even. Son, not quite. So Everton, maybe a slightly overhit pass there. Son was closing it down, but Pickford has put a boot through it, and Lloris now has it at his feet. But yeah, just on those free kicks, I would say, all else being equal, you would expect the free kick taker to try and put it over the wall into that side of the goal.
Yeah.
Now, traditionally, you line the wall up to protect one side, the goalkeeper protects the other side. But if the goalkeeper knows that 9 times out of 10, that's the target, it's kind of fair enough to offer it and then just step and try and take it away at the last moment and effectively be like, thanks for putting the ball straight into where I was going. When we see it go wrong is when people score. But like I say, that's just, if you only see it when it goes wrong, of course you think it goes wrong all the time. Yeah,
it's often lazy analysis. I can see Robbie Savage doing 5 minutes on goalkeeper putting the weight on the wrong foot, and it's like, it's a one-off, and we know
it's one of those things. Be like, do you think goalkeeper coaches haven't noticed?
Come on, they spend hours reviewing these free kicks and silly amounts of days on the training ground. Seb, just seeing the ball come over to the left, like long ball over from Spurs, trying to find Reguilon. That looks like an avenue they're trying to exploit is Reguilon's quality, and he has it. Interesting that Everton, Godfrey was brilliant against Brighton at centre-back. Holgate played midfield. There's no Yerry Mina. He's out for a while. Holgate is centre-back today with Keane, and it's Godfrey at right-back. Coleman, who's had a brilliant run in the team, isn't playing. But Godfrey at right-back, he does a job. But
Harry Kane has just gone for the Charlie Adam.
Oh, go on.
It hasn't come off. It is very wide. It was possibly short and wide.
He's on the halfway line, isn't he? Right on the halfway line.
Yeah. We've got to replay the penalty incident rather than an attempt, which maybe tells you how good the attempt was. But that would have been fun. When Charlie Adam did it years ago, I think I don't know if he did it twice, but I think it might be when he was at Liverpool. I remember the interview afterwards where he was asked, like, oh, is that a thing, you try often, or, did you just fancy it? And he was like, oh, no, I never do that. I just saw it and I went for it. And then immediately afterwards, they showed replays of him trying it in like every other game for the rest of the season. And it was like, okay, Charlie, come on.
Yeah, you've been there, done that. There's a lot of, there's no way that's a pen after seeing that fifth replay we've just seen. He does definitely kick the floor, but there is contact still. Like, it's more pushing him contact rather than contact by his kicking foot. But I think it's one of those, he's just played him.
James has just had a shot as well there. Possibly slightly missed it. I'm not sure he's going for quite what he achieved, but Lloris gathers it relatively easily.
2 save points. Well, not 2 save points, but 2 saves for Lloris. 1 short of a point.
Might be 3.
No, Richarlison.
I swear there was one a moment ago.
This
is very important to me now that they've conceded a goal.
Yeah, we did say we were there for save points, didn't we?
Yeah, it's already not a great decision, but there you go.
Oh, Everton are in here again, and Sigurdsson with a poor touch. It goes out for a throw-in the end, but yeah, decent.
I would argue since the Spurs goal, Everton have been better. I think Spurs had been better before that, but yeah, Everton have had 3 shots on target, so yeah, 1 more penalty.
Oh, hello, Everton are in here. Iwobi. I mean, you've seen it, Seb, I guess.
Oh, I was looking at stats. Lloris has got the ball in his hands, but I don't know if that maybe hit a crossbar or he's made a save. It looked like it bounced down to him.
Oh, great save. That is a great save. It's
James again with that touch.
Sigurdsson and James linking really nicely.
Yeah, that's a good save. Yeah, that's so nice. That little touch and then Sigurdsson through. And he just hits it straight at him, doesn't he? He's getting closed down well. So I guess all the option he's got is just to hit it and hope. But one of those anywhere else and maybe it's a goal.
Yeah, arguably he should score, but he's so close to being closed down. Yeah. Well, that's definitely a save point for Lloris.
Yep. I think he just takes a snapshot, doesn't he? but yeah, Everton have looked... and Luca Dean as well has just skipped it over Serge Aurier here and has space on the left. Pulls it back again into that area. Ball's lost there. Sigurdsson doesn't quite get it under control. But again, pulled into that area where the penalty was given away. I wonder if what we're seeing at the moment is, we were talking at the beginning about how maybe with the setups in the formation, Tottenham could have the advantage at the back and at the front.
Yeah.
But Everton could control the midfield. With James dropping back from up front, but then also filling that position and Sigurdsson happily doing a bit of a 10 role as well.
Yeah.
Luca Dean coming on. I think we are seeing Everton control the midfield and maybe Spurs' wing-backs not getting back enough to help this back three. And it ends up being almost a 3-on-3. We see Luca Dean going into all that space that Serge Aurier is leaving and Sigurdsson available in that pocket.
That is the first time Luca Dean has done that though, but yeah, we know he likes to do that.
With the goal where Sigurdsson laid it back to James, Luca Dean was making that run again.
Fair.
So I think you're right. It's the first time he's actually had the ball, but it's been on a few times.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Aurier, we know, can have that lapse. And again, if he's being given responsibility to get forward, then you think, okay, there might be a lapse there. But going back to the James chance, because it's a big chance. The link up between him and Sigurdsson, I love it when you watch players on the same wavelength that are often on a wavelength that others aren't. And I feel like James, 100%, a bit like KDB, needs other brains around him that can really get the best out of him, to appreciate those movements. And Siggy might just be one of those players. He's got a bit of guile, he's got a bit of craft, and the way he puts James in there for that 1-2 was pretty beautiful. I love that.
Oh yeah. It's one of those. What would you say? Like your Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez for a bit at Man United.
Yeah.
I know they're not quite the same
Frank
position
and Didier.
as Sigurdsson. Yeah,
Frank and Drogba, those two. Assist goal. For FPL, they're brilliant.
Was it Alex Song who always used to put those balls over to Van Persie?
Yeah, for one season. Because Alex Song was good for one season at Arsenal. Yeah. And then he got his move, didn't he? He got his move to Barca, I think.
He did indeed. So, not claiming that Song and Van Persie are quite the same as the other ones mentioned there. But like you say, it's just nice when there's players who are capable of reading each other's game.
Yeah.
Executing the thing that the other one wants, and then I guess they train together so often that they just know that you're going to be over my shoulder here.
Yeah, another one, and I don't like it because I never had him in FPL because my least favourite footballer ever was Rooney and Van Persie for a year or two. For FPL, the goal and assist, if you saw a flash up on your phone a Van Persie goal, it was always a Rooney assist, and vice versa. And Martin Tyler that season, Rooney, Van Persie, it was just a thing.
A good one for FPL was Fabregas and Costa.
Oh, that was
season
brilliant.
Fabregas came back.
Conte's
might have been like
first
8.5 mil or something.
That was Mourinho.
It was Jose. Yeah,
Mourinho's first season back, and he bought those two, and he won the league. Yeah.
Yeah, and Fabregas was on for, that's another save for Lloris, which Charlison header, very, very poor, straight into Lloris's hands.
Oh, that is
Probably
decent, Seb. He'll be on for bonus points at this rate, despite conceding, because Kane will get them. Siggy might get them, but he's a midfielder, so maybe not. So I think Lloris will be in the mix come 60 minutes, if he carries on like this.
Knowing Kane, he scored a goal, so there's 3 bonus there, probably.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, hey, I'll take 1 point and then another match.
For those that have gone Son triple captain, you might be thinking he's not really been involved. He's lost his clean sheet point. Yeah, you might be worried about him slipping behind, but it's a very long time to go. Remember, we've got another game.
Early on, there was promising signs of them trying to get him behind. We've not seen that in a while, but that's possibly because Everton have controlled the game.
Yeah.
I guess the thing we see with Son, especially when he's in this upfront position, like earlier in the season, is he doesn't do all that much, and then he gets a clear-cut chance.
Yeah, he is there for the breaks, the counters, the playing over the top. He ain't going to hold the ball up. He ain't going to be a man to hit. Like, the versatility in someone like a Kane's game compared to a Son's are just absolute levels. Like, Son arguably is a one-trick pony. He's just the best pony in the paddock, right? Of what he does.
Maybe. Yeah, like you say, when he's wide, he definitely is more involved than when just straight up front. I was looking at the other night when looking for Spurs angles. I was looking at the stats between the Man United and Newcastle fixtures that have just gone, and the Man United and Newcastle fixtures at the beginning of the season. Obviously, crucially, that first Man United match was where Spurs won 6-1 or whatever it was. Yeah. Both Son and Kane had more touches and more shots in the second match that they lost than the first match that they won 6-1. Obviously, they did create more chances between them, though, because they had those 4 massive chances. And
that's outrageous, though, because they were rubbish, especially second half. Like, you wouldn't expect those numbers because they didn't look like they turned up second half, but yeah.
It's an interesting one, especially for FPL, when you can go like, a team are bad, but a player or two in that team are still worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not giant news, right? Kane and Son are obviously worth it. But if Spurs look terrible, but Kane and Son are still getting touches and taking shots, maybe I don't care that Spurs are that terrible too much.
Yeah, fair. Looks like Davis and Holgate have had a head clash there, but I don't know if either of them have gone down. But Holgate doesn't... I mean, if there's a defensive injury there, remember, no Mina, it would be Godfrey to centre-back and Coleman at right-back, I guess. So they're all right. But, he's getting some treatment.
Yeah, Tom Davies is up okay. And like you say, I think the Everton man is still down receiving treatment.
Yeah.
Potential concussion protocol one there.
Yeah, it will be, I think. I saw Josh King on the bench, and I just remembered Josh King plays for Everton. And with no Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course he came in January, with no Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I just thought maybe King would get some minutes, but I don't even think he came on against Brighton. And of course on the bench today, Iwobi is playing today. And again, Iwobi is not a Josh King, but Josh King can play that wide forward role, or that wide even midfield role, if you remember his time at Bournemouth. But what do you make of that, Seb? Was he bought just to bolster the numbers, or has he just been rubbish in training?
I mean, maybe this is a lazy answer. Maybe someone has some more insight than me, but it just feels like a classic January signing.
Yeah.
We have a gap in our squad. We need someone who's available. It's January, and we don't want to go and spend silly money. Oh, look, there's a player for a price, plays in the position, sign them. And it doesn't mean he wouldn't have like a minimum quality level required. But if they had 2.5 months over a summer to make that signing, I don't know if they make the same one.
Yeah. So I've just looked at the chat. Sorry, guys. I've not looked at the chat for ages. And we were obviously talking about partnerships up front. Suarez and Sturridge. Remember that, says Anakari. And then we've got Gerrard and Torres, it says Evan. Fair play.
That's a really good one. We're talking about those 3 balls. Yeah, that's a really good one.
And also, if you add Xabi Alonso into that mix, for the 3 of them, wavelength.
Speaking about Tottenham, we were saying earlier in the show just how, maybe a lot of good individuals and maybe not the team performances you expect.
Yeah. That
Liverpool team, and hey, don't get me wrong, when they had Torres, there was a season where they were very, very good. But that team was so like Xabi Alonso, Gerrard, Torres, so good.
And then Milan Baros.
And then the rest of the team.
Or Dirk Cow.
I mean, that was most of Gerrard's Liverpool career, really, unfortunately,
fair.
Wasn't it? He was probably a lot better than the team around him.
Even at the back, their centre-backs for a long time were Hupia and Carragher, or Hupia and Honcho. Honcho? I can't pronounce it.
Stefan Honcho, I think.
And, these weren't quality world-class players, and they were still winning Champions League. So, you look at that lineup for the 2005 Champions League comeback in Istanbul against Milan. Firstly, you look at the Milan team, and it's arguably the best ever. It's definitely up there. It's probably top 5 in terms of best ever 11s assembled. And then you look at the Liverpool team, you're like, Milan Baros? God, head down. I mean, he'd never looked up. Okay, Mascherano, says Molo. Yeah, but he came in later. Going back, Dwight and York, says G-Wiz. Again, wavelength, fair play.
Nice.
So yeah, that was, you're right, Seb. Like, those three were obviously insanely good that they were able just to slightly carry the team. And then I guess Gerard Houllier just managed to get the best out of Dirk Kuyt, the best out of Barros.
And don't get me wrong, like, individuals
Steve
very,
Finnan.
very important.
Sorry. Steve Finnan won a Champions League. I think he started the Champions League final.
I don't mind being interrupted by someone shouting Steve Finnan. That's a good way to go.
Isn't there a really popular quiz question about Steve Finnan? Hasn't he played in every division or won a trophy in every division or something like that? Maybe I've got the wrong player, but
Richarlison. So James again lays him up. He's trying to wriggle his way into the box, and this one won't be a penalty, I don't think. It almost looks like he runs out of options and thinks maybe I'll try and squeeze through this gap and get a penalty. Rodon definitely gets the ball first, and Richarlison just goes down almost in embarrassment, I think.
It's funny watching Rodon and watching Dyer, who are both the left and right centre-back, in a 3. Because centre-backs, when they're forced, centre-backs that are used to playing in a 2 that are forced to play left-sided or right-sided centre-back, it's often really funny watching them because they can be left vulnerable in a lot of space. And I sometimes just wonder how well centre-backs will adjust, and some are really good at it. Sometimes fullbacks will move to those slots, like Azpilicueta, who is perfect at it. Arguably, that's his best position. But often you see them left in a little bit too much space and just a little bit uncomfortable. And Dyer is one of those that I don't want to see defending out in those spaces. And we just saw Rodon there, didn't look the most comfortable against Richarlison. He's used to defending with people in front of him, with people to his left and his right. So one to monitor for those Spurs full centre-backs, because against Richarlison, who's very quick and very tricky, because these are not centre-backs that we're used to see playing in a 3. I mean, Toby Alderweireld, arguably we see him there for Belgium, and he's in the middle, so it's a little bit more like playing in a 2. And if you asked all three of them, where do you want to play? They'd probably all say they want to play in the middle.
Yeah, when you look at the back 4 versus the back 3, it's the complete opposite, if that's the right way of putting it, channels. Yeah. So obviously in a back 4, what you're defending is you've got fullback side of you, other centre-back the other side of you, whichever way around that is.
Yeah.
And you're effectively all defending what's in front of you.
Yeah.
I guess.
100%.
Whereas in a back 3, well, we saw the chance that James laid up for Richarlison.
Yeah.
There's a central defender who can possibly act a bit like, the ones in a back 4, or more typically can act almost more like a midfielder who would drop in between a back 4.
Yeah.
But other than being in a possession, it's out of possession. And what that leaves is obviously big spaces outside if your wing-backs don't help you out, but also completely different channels between the middle centre-back and the right and left centre-back than what you get in a back 4. If you're separated in a back 4, it's down the line for a full-back or straight through the middle of you two. Whereas in a back 3, we saw that almost, for want of a better phrase, I guess that half space that Richarlison ran into, James laid him through.
Yeah.
And I guess you're just not used to defending that space, especially when there's so much outside of you.
Yeah, exactly that. Who are the best at it? Like, who are the best centre-backs that are arguably better when playing left centre-back or right centre-back? I'm going to give you a couple just because it's my club. Yeah, Aspi is the best. Like that's his role. But also, obviously, he's a full-back. So if we're looking at centre-backs that play out there, I actually think Rudiger is very, very good. I actually think Rudiger is arguably better in that space. And Rudiger at times, when he first came to Chelsea, and maybe it was at Roma, played at right back. And again, you can see him playing there. Ivanovic is someone that can play that role back in the day. I'm just bringing loads of Chelsea examples, but trying to think off the top of my head others.
Probably one of the best examples is your Barzagli, Chiellini, and Bonucci.
Chiellini's brilliant at it. Yeah. And again, like Chiellini would play left-sided centre-back in a 3. And again, he is someone that can play left back.
And that relied on, we're speaking about in and out of possession, that relied on Bonucci as well, being an incredible ball distributor to make it work.
Best passer I've seen live, Bonucci.
Really?
Yeah, so
and
good.
We were talking about, De Bruyne and James earlier. Best passer you've seen live, Bonucci.
Do you know what? I've not seen KDB live.
Okay.
But I have seen Pirlo live. So Pirlo's obviously the better part. But maybe it was just the games I watched. I watched all the Italy games at the Euros in France in 2016. Yeah. And for those like 4 or 5 games, he was sensational. And I just came away from that going, to watch him passing a football is just like, yeah, so underrated. Not underrated. Everyone knows how good he is. But yeah, Louis Ashton says Maldini. Back to the partnerships. Some twisted logic. Seb and Gianni. Love that. Even better than Patrick's version of Shearer and Sutton. But Seb and Gianni are definitely on a wavelength. Guys in the chat, thank you for joining us at half time. Bit of a quiz question for you. So not one for Seb. Gianni has launched something in FPL, in the community today. Any ideas what it is? First one to answer correctly wins away from Sharko. Gianni has launched something in the FPL community today. What is it? Come on, let's see those questions. If someone says hair product or something like that, minus points.
Although maybe you should consider that.
yeah, my own personal grooming range.
We could do a Halloween one. It could be green for Fantasy Football Scout.
Oh, I love that. On brand, always. I could maybe sell it on the website and have a how to get a 1 million rank. Very funny, Louis. Love that. You're the one that gave me stick, Louis, for Mason Mount or Lingard's numbers being better. I remember. Oh, guys in the chat, you're a good bunch. Nuclear Atoms, Geo Boys. Adamia, good stuff. You've all got it right, but I want more guesses. Come on. There's been no... Oh, Gurav says a book. No, been there, done that. You can buy the book, though. Check out my Twitter for that. Or just Google it. FPL Fest, FFS, Kevin Cook. Love that. Lucas. This is all great, guys. I need a photo of this chat. FPL Fest incoming, says Adama. That is brilliant. So, yes, without further ado, that's exactly what I've launched. Alongside the FPL GOAT himself. Now, many of you will know Mark Southerns from his time at Fantasy Football Scout and, of course, still associated with it. Also presenter of a brilliant pod, which I'm sure many of you watch, called Black Box. He does that with us. But Mark was the creator of Fantasy Football Scout, and sometimes we forget that. He was the brains behind the platform you all know and love. And now he's got a new platform that hopefully you guys will all become to know and love. And that is Fantasy Football Fest. Please do check us out on Twitter. We effectively launched today. FF_Fest. Give it a search. Give it a follow. And hopefully, guys, we can see all of you in person when we start launching these. Because that's the idea, Seb. We want to get everyone together. So the plan is 3-4 times a year in maybe a variety of cities. Not just around the UK, but hopefully... one day in year 3 or 4, maybe internationally, but we will host events, which will mean you guys can come to meet the likes of Mark, to meet the likes of Sharko, who I'll be bringing, to have a beer with your mate, to actually put a face to the name. What do you reckon, Seb? Good idea, right?
Yeah, I'm quite. I mean, after what we all spent, a year, more than a year inside. How nice to actually be able to not just go outside. I don't know if a few people have gone to the pub this evening and whatnot, but come meet up with people that we talk to online and spend time with. And I mean, I have never met you in person.
Crazy.
And yet we've spent so much time together, both obviously on camera here, but also, in between shows and whatnot. And yeah, it'd be cool to come meet people. And you can all see how I'm not actually very tall. that'd be nice for everyone.
That's funny. I saw a photo of Late Riser the other day, and I don't know why, but I think it's because, like, I don't know. I have no idea why. And a few people comment on Twitter going, I don't know why. I didn't realise you would be so tall. And he's really tall.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. I'm not going to say
his face looks like he's not tall. Yeah.
I don't think I'd considered his height. But I also did not expect him to be particularally tall.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Everyone's tall to me. When I'm 5'7". When I was back in school playing like rugby, first team, and then at uni.
Scrum half?
Mates with... I started off at flanker, then moved to the wing, then moved to scrum half later, like uni and stuff.
6 or 7?
7 typically.
I was going to say, I think you're quite quick, open sides,
Yeah. When I first played, like, it kind of was interchangeable. I was younger when I started flanker, then moved to the wing.
Yeah.
It was basically, learned I was quick, and also everyone was getting a hell of a lot bigger than me. So I was like, I suppose I'll go outside.
Yeah.
That's why I started going to the gym, to be honest. It was like, I need to be able to actually be able to stand up to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was used to obviously, go to the pub, go out with a load of rugby mates, and it would definitely get to that point in the evening where I'd be stood like at the bar, just down here with my drink, being like, guys, okay, never mind, I'll do my thing.
Especially
it was like me and
mates.
my best mate at school was 6'5", and there was a kid in our year who was 6'11". Used to hang out with a couple of them, and it was like, okay, good. And then when I went to drama school, we had the guys in our year as well. We had like this weird split between, there was like me and a bunch of other guys who were like 5'9" and under. And then a bunch of guys who were all 6'4" and over as well. There was like no one in the middle. So yeah, long story short, I spent a lot of my time looking up.
I love that. That is brilliant. Guys saying, come to US, come to India, come to Amsterdam, come to Barca. Look, guys, it's on our radar. We hope to. It's going to be brilliant. Like, we want to have these big events. We're really excited about it. Hopefully, we'll have our first event in a not too distant, maybe more of a launch party. If you follow us on Twitter, and by the way, Fantasy Football Scout are one of our supporters, which we're really, really excited about having those guys on board. So we can't thank them enough for sort of backing us. But yeah, check us out on Twitter. Give us a follow, and then event details might be a little hint of our first event in the next week or two. So yeah, enough of that. Enough of my bit. You can also buy my book, and you can also follow me on Instagram or whatever.
Have you got a book, Jenny? Did you write that with someone else?
I've got the
Has
book.
Has it got a foreword from a?
Oh, yeah, that's a point. I've got the book. I've got Premier League Fantasy. Oh God, I can't even say it. Fantasy Premier League. It's been a while. Unlocking the secrets to a top 1% finish, and the foreword is from Mrs. Jules Breach herself. There is also another book. This one teaches you how to win. This one teaches you about other great stories from the community, wasting your wild cards. So 2 great FPL books there. That's the shopping TV half an hour done. Talking about height, how tall do you reckon I am, Seb? Oh no, I've done quite a lot of videos, so I've probably given the game away. You'll see me standing at the big screen on the FPL show and stuff.
Yeah, standing next to James and stuff. I mean, yeah, okay. So to be fair, I guess I could. There's a way to answer this that is generous, isn't there? So I'll give you 6 foot exactly.
Oh, nice. Yeah, a little bit taller, but close. Yeah. Yes. So James, I think, is about your height.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, possibly shorter actually, but likewise, all the FPL pundits seem to be, well, on average, I think they tend to be shorter. So David's probably similar to you. Jules is short. James is short. So when I'm on with those 3, and I do quite a lot of shows with David, they have to really be smart with where they position me, because I'm 6'1" or 6'2", and when we're all at the big screen together, it's okay, we need to work this out.
Stand you further backwards.
yeah, exactly. And I was on with Duncan Alexander the other day, Mr. XG himself. Amazing meeting him. What a guy. And yeah, he's tall, and I was like, get in, we can stand next to each other and not have to try and be clever.
So good.
So yeah, that was great, and good having a chat with him about XG. That was fun. I was thinking, I wish Seb was here. So yeah, that was fun.
Did you? What did he offer you up in Insight or anything?
Do you know? He just told me about stories about explaining it to footballers, because he's had to go in and sort of, because of his day job with Opta and stuff, he's had to. He's been on various shows with the likes of Alan Shearer, where he's had to introduce them to XG, and they brought him in to go bring our pundits up to speed about XG. And so he's gone and done work for the BBC, and he's had Alan Shearer going, I don't need someone to tell me what the chances to score. And it just had some funny stories. And it was some footballers and some people in the media, as you've all seen on Twitter, not telling you anything you don't know, are quite anti it. Was it Jeff Stelling or Jim White or someone recently at Sky was like, what's this XG nonsense? And again, former footballers, often the same. I really like it, as you do, Seb.
I mean, I really like it in terms of, it does. I think the main issue it has, I think it was named badly for a start.
Yeah.
I mean, if Duncan Alexander named it, I don't quite mean that, but I mean, It's unfortunate because it infers something it doesn't quite do. It measures the quality of a chance and nothing more.
Yeah.
So if someone scores 3 goals for every 1 XG, it doesn't tell you why they're doing that. We can either assume they're lucky or quality or a bit of both. We don't know. It also doesn't work over small sample sizes. The fact that it's fractional as well can be a problem, because, you get 0.5 XG. Well, therefore, someone either has to score or not score. You can't score half a goal.
Yeah.
So someone's always going to over or underperform in a short time frame.
Yeah.
It just measures the quality of chances, and like any piece of data, it works better over a period of time. There are different models out there as well. There are some models that don't take into account, say, goalkeeper positioning, and obviously that's going to give you different results. I think it's really, really powerful if you know how to apply it. And I definitely can lean on it too much sometimes myself. We were talking about biases earlier.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I like it is it takes a few things and puts them into one nice, easy package. I don't need to know where the shot was taken from or what the assist type was or, how the defenders were positioned, because I can just look at XG. It's a nice, easy one number fits all. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then that's half the problem as well, because, you can then just start leaning on this one number too much. But yeah.
I was quite naive to it, and when I spoke to Duncan, it was the night after Mason Mount had scored his first goal against Porto, and the XG on that was 0.05. I don't know if that was on the actual chance. I think it was. On the half of football, Chelsea's was 0.05, and I was like, okay, that must mean the Mount chance was 0.05, because I think that was the only shot.
Yeah.
And And I was thinking, from that position, surely that's not a 1 in 20 chance. So I was thinking, is it from further back? Is it judging the whole package? Because where he gets the ball, his back's to goal. There's a ball coming in. Does it evaluate that as well as the shot? But no, absolutely it doesn't, because that would be way too complex. It's just that's where the shot is taken from that point in the pitch. And based on, Duncan said something like over 10,000 chances of that particular patch.
Yeah,
it uses that data and goes, this is the maths behind it. It's a 1 in 20.
So
Fair enough.
it depends on the model you use. And
Yeah.
again, if you ever see
Stats
Duncan
bomb and
Alexander
Opta
explain
different.
it,
Yeah.
And if you ever see Duncan Alexander explain it, I guess listen to him, not me, because he's gonna know it better. But my understanding is obviously depends on the model. They'll take into account a load of things. It's based on, like you say, 10,000 historical shots, 30,000 shots, whatever. Enough data to make it reliable.
Yeah.
And it will take, location of pitch, assist type, height of ball or whatever. Some of them will take into account like the position of the defenders, the angle to goal, all that kind of stuff. That's where the models differ. And it will give you, of those 10,000 shots, all the ones that were exactly the same or similar enough to these conditions, how many were a goal? So obviously, when Harry Kane exceeds it, you'd expect that because he is better at finishing.
Yeah.
And that's what it's telling us. It's not telling us that he should be scoring less. It's telling us he's a good striker. And then there are other stats that will tell us, post-shot XG. XG ends just before the ball is hit. Post-shot XG then measures, based on where the shot ended up on the goal, how often does that turn into a goal? And that's a good way of measuring both finishing quality and goalkeeper quality. But again, there's lots of other stuff in that.
Guys, Fantasy Football Scout members platform, if you want to know more about these stats, delve into those numbers of those players or those teams, the members area is definitely one for you. And it's very little. You could buy, it's the price of a couple of books for an annual membership. Go for it.
Just one last thing to add on that, if I may, if no one's bored of it.
No, not at all.
I think one of the most useful things it does for us is just, that classic line of he should have scored there. It just quantifies that, because so often we see like people going, oh, how has he missed out? Or he's got to hit the target there. He's got to put that away.
Yeah.
If we see that it's a 0.05, like you said, XG chance, well, the chances are he doesn't have to put that away because normally people don't put that away.
Yeah.
And it just gives us a good little measure on how reliable we are when we're watching football. And some people will have a great intuitive take on XG. Some people will just see a chance, maybe be able to, they don't need to be adding it all up or anything. They just see football, see a chance and go, decent chance because I remember these have been scored in the past, or this is how I judge it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fair enough. It just allows us to put a number to that to try and keep us all a bit honest.
Yeah. Really interesting discussion on XG. Josh says, thank you for that. Really great discussion. Trotter saying, totally with Seb on this. And Kev letting us know that Everton 1.51 XG for that half. Remember, you get 0.75 for a pen, or 7.6, and 0.31 to Spurs. Spurs is low. That 0.31, that Kane chance is probably at 0.2 to 0.25, and then the 0.6 somewhere else.
They had like 3 shots, didn't they? So again, depends on the model, because there were no defenders near him or anything. But I guess we were talking about the factors that are taken into it. It's on his weaker foot, on the turn, on the bounce.
On the bounce, High
so
ball,
while it is, that's probably one of those ones, if he missed that, you'd be like, how has he not scored that? Because he's in a great location, there's no one near him.
But
if you look at how hard it is to strike a ball cleanly there, that probably equates why, it's not a above 50% chance.
Yeah.
Although it depends on model. Maybe some models are going to tell us that's a really easy chance. I don't know.
And the Lingard goal from last week with the open goal, 10 yards out, Stats Bomb and Opta, there was a big difference. One of them had something like 0.2 or 0.3, and then one had it at like 0.8. It was very, very different.
So I think
it was an empty goal, remember? Goalkeeper wasn't there.
I think the Stats Bomb model takes defensive positioning and goalkeeper positioning into account, whereas I think the Opta one doesn't, but it puts more weight on like angle and visibility of goal, something like that. Again, please fact check that. But things like that, when you're going into an open net, if we're not looking at where the goalkeeper is, that makes a huge difference.
Really does. Yeah. Kick-off,
second half is
off. Just looking now, I'm just seeing there's been no changes, and I'm just looking at the formation, and Everton with that back four, which is really interesting because they have been playing with a 5, and Spurs, who have been playing with a 4, are playing with a 5. I just feel like teams went to match each other tonight and actually both changed what they usually do. And Ancelotti is one for that, and Mourinho definitely is one for that. So I think they've both actually done that and gone, well, it's kicked off now. We know, or the team sheets are in now. Let's just stick with what we've been doing in the last 48 hours in training and run with it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been quite disappointed with Spurs' midfield. I don't remember the midfield. Okay, other than the goal, to be fair, that was Ndombele from the wing. I don't remember the midfield particularly progressing the ball in a dangerous way. It's all either gone over the top or around the sides.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to defending, I mean, how much have we seen come either down the left or from Sigurdsson and James pretty central?
Yeah.
It feels like maybe tactical rather than player quality. The Tottenham midfield are a bit outmatched, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, possibly in numbers, but also I look at class. Like, Sigurdsson's having a really good game. James has been smart on the ball, but arguably not playing in midfield. He's a bit further up. But I look at Alan, Seb, and I put him in that Spurs team. Alan improves that Spurs team so much. Like, yes, Højbjerg's done well this season, and Spurs fans will tell you to their blue in the face, Højbjerg's amazing. He's a Southampton player, and he did really well there. He ain't going to get you top four. Bayern Munich got rid of him quick time. He's not an elite player. He's very good at his job, and because Spurs have been dreadful, he has shone. Fair enough. Alan's a much, much better, classier player. Maybe
slightly different roles in those positions, I guess.
But same position on the pitch. They are playing the same role for their teams.
I would argue they maybe play different roles. I guess same position, different roles.
Same position, yeah, that's fair.
Højbjerg probably sits a bit more, whereas Alan will chase ball more. I was going to say I wonder if Højbjerg's a better passer, but actually thinking back to Alan at Napoli, he was probably one of the better passers in the team. Yeah.
He can go between the lines, pass forward. Yeah, Højbjerg's missed a 10-yard sideways for me.
Well, he was being used at Napoli in the end. He was being used rather than the DM, more box to box.
Yeah, because Jorginho was the DM.
I remember him suddenly popping up on the end. Yeah.
Yeah, to
be fair, maybe he is a better player. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think... Has he been capped by Brazil yet?
He must have.
I remember at Napoli, when he was at Napoli, he hadn't been capped by Brazil. I mean, he may have got capped for Brazil when he was at Napoli, but early on he wasn't. And it was just like, how? Because you are so bloody good. He's probably got 10 or 15 caps. Let's have a look. He's 30 years old. Okay, so he's older than you'd perhaps think. Let's have a look.
You might get through it before me. Mine's been very slow.
He is on 10 caps.
10 caps, yeah, from 2018. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess, like you said, early Napoli.
It was ridiculous. So, Napoli were arguably the best midfield under Sarri, very close to being the best midfield in Italy. Jorginho and Alan are in there. Jorginho wasn't capped by Brazil and went, okay, I'm going to go play for Italy. And they went, yes, please. And he was often in team of the season, remember, in Serie A, Jorginho, and wasn't looking for Brazil. And he plays for Italy through residency. And
Harry Kane in down the left here, Gianni. He's laying it across to, I think, Reguilon, who's set it up. Set it up back post, and I want to say that might have been Højbjerg coming in. Dean puts it over the bar for a corner. Nice. No, Eric Dyer, sorry, excuse me.
Oh, Dyer getting forward. What's he doing up there?
I know. I'm not.
You sure that was Eric Dyer?
I mean, we looked at Eric Dyer afterwards, so yeah, it's Eric Dyer putting the ball in from the left.
Wow, okay. Overlapping centre back.
Nice.
Yeah, very quickly on Napoli, yeah. So yeah, it took him to 2018, Alan, which is shocking. But Italy tried getting Alan. I remember that now. And when they got Jorginho, they went, can we have Alan as well? And then he was like, no, Brazil will take him. But it took him a while. Spurs corner comes in. I think I might be just ahead. It's Son on the corner. Not Reguilon from that side. And yeah, cleared. Am I just ahead? I'm on 50, 10, 11, 12.
You are a second or two ahead of me.
Oh, get on. I don't know where that happened.
Nice. Iwobi did well defending there as well. He stood it up nicely, body checked and cleared it.
Yeah, I look forward to bringing you guys up to speed with bonus points at 60. I want to see if my boy Hugo features. I think he's going to be getting 1 or 2 currently. Kane will be on for 3.
What would you have at the moment? Kane, Sigurdsson?
And then Hugo.
I'd probably say...
No one's been creating lots of chances, so it won't be... The chances created... I mean, Sigurdsson will be, and he's created a few chances.
I was thinking maybe James, but then maybe I'm just thinking... Maybe I'm putting too much on that one or two good chances he's created, yeah.
But he did get the assist as well, James.
For the penalty, good point, yeah.
Quick time check, please, Gianni. I think we'll win against City tomorrow. Okay. Quick time check with what? Let me know. Skander. Dawn asking if Chelsea will beat City tomorrow. Oh, Son's in.
Son in down the left. Good save in the end.
That was close.
Although possibly Son ran himself out of angle there, do you reckon?
Yeah, and he might be offside. I've seen a replay. It's very close to offside, but he does well. He absolutely rinses Michael Keane, who's so slow on the turn.
I think Pickford does well there. I know we like to dig him out, but he closes that angle down. He makes a save. He puts it out for a corner. Doesn't play it back into the box or back to Son or anything. stays on his feet late and dives weirdly at it, but saves it well.
No comment.
Gianni's
I
not
can't.
happy.
I can't. But yeah, you're right. He does. Corner again from Son. So Son is on corners both sides. Oh, it's knocking around, and it's my boy Godfrey with the clearance. One of my. Is it Godfrey? I'm not sure, but I love Godfrey.
Absolutely no one up the pitch for Everton.
Yeah.
That was cleared. Tom Davies was furthest forward and basically just gave up on it.
You'd think you leave Richarlison for an outball, right? But no.
Quite possibly. I mean,
he's good in the air, though, isn't he,
That says
Seb?
how they're feeling about the match at the moment.
He's good in the air, Richarlison. And he's not the tallest, but he's got a leap on him. So they obviously want him at the back. And Richarlison's got a bit of space.
Speaking of which,
here.
he's possibly through here.
Oh, he puts in... Oh, Sigurdsson can't control it. It's not the best pass. If that falls well, Siggy's got a good opportunity there. Yeah. Thoughts on the FA Cup tomorrow? Let's have a very quick one on City Chelsea. I think Chelsea got a chance. They had an extra day as well. Chelsea coming back from Seville on Tuesday night. City coming back from Dortmund Wednesday night. I wonder if that extra day is going to be useful. City obviously went all out, as did Chelsea, but I think we'll get a little bit of rotation in both teams. No Cancelo against Dortmund, so he'll come in. Maybe he'll play with a recognised 9. They'll come in. What do you reckon, Seb? It's going to be a very close game for me tomorrow. Two equal teams don't concede. I mean, City, of course, are favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Chelsea turn up and do something. City first half against Dortmund weren't brilliant.
I guess, yeah, I think my answer is fairly boring. I think City are favourites. Chelsea are obviously closer to an upset than, say, for example, a Leeds would. Obviously, we beat them, but statistically, that was very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
I think if City turn up, can impose themselves on the game, it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, fair.
Chelsea possibly have some of the weapons. Like, we know they've conceded a few goals recently, but defensively, they're good.
Kovacic
You would
is a big
expect
loss.
Tuchel. Yeah, that's true.
He's injured.
You'd expect Tuchel to be able to, I guess, set up to try and counter and nullify Man City.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the advantage you have. You know, it's not just a Burnley who can defend well. Tuchel will be able to specifically employ players to try and weaken Man City.
Yeah, Pulisic, for example, or Werner. I think Werner will start tomorrow, and he's definitely not in our first choice 11, but first choice 11s are dependent on the opponent. And against Man City, who will have a lot of the ball, who we will be able to counter, I think Pulisic and Werner will both be very dangerous and therefore probably both start tomorrow, perhaps with Mount in a front three. This is a shame for Havertz if he doesn't start, because he's been playing really well.
Yeah. Is all of your defence fit and available?
Yeah, I think so. Christensen maybe not, but again, is he nailed? So no, I think we'll go into that with Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and Aspi, and yeah, it'll be fairly solid. I think our wing backs will be Reece and Chilwell. Chilwell, who would have played 3 times in a week, but that does set up Alonso free for FPL, which will be nice for those that kept the faith. Alan with a really quick fire ball in over the top. No one's reading it, but that's a nice ball.
That's one of those ones, rather than to a person, it's into an area.
Yeah, Pirlo pass.
Yeah, maybe that sort of shows the Richarlison in that number 9 role, just peeling off to the penalty spot, isn't where he naturally maybe thinks of being. If that was Harry Kane, for example, I think Alan finds Harry Kane because he is running into that space every time.
Possibly even Calvert-Lewin. But yeah, it's not the Richarlison movement, that. The ball gets put out by Pickford. Why has he put the ball out? No one's down.
I think someone's... Oh, no.
What's he done? What are you doing? And they're not going to... Oh, they're going to give the ball back, are they?
Fair enough. Did he see someone down then or something?
I think he thought he saw someone down.
Okay. Well, fair play all around there, I guess, then. Very sports.
I don't know if Mourinho will be happy with that, Seb. Like, it's quite a good position for a throw-in. And, yeah. Interesting game here for those teams that might still think they could get top 4. Arguably, for Everton or Spurs to still say they've got a slim chance of top 4, they have to win tonight. One of these teams, if not both, if they draw, you could say 100%, out of the top 4 race. I mean, arguably, they're both out of it already. But they might just believe. Oh, bit of space here on Ndombele. Kane's put him in. Shot. Oh, that would be a Kane assist. It's gone over. Takes a big deflection. I think it's Luca Dean that throws himself at the ball. And maybe without that deflection, it's a goal. But Kane does well, Seb.
He does. He's definitely dropped back more into that creative role. I mean, I know he scored the goal, obviously. Like we say, he does get forward well, of course, from that position. But he's probably been more involved slightly deeper again tonight, like we saw earlier in the season. He's created that chance for Ndombele. And if memory serves, I think he put someone through earlier as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And he can, Tim Sherwood, who managed him, and I think gave him a big run in the team when he was a youngster, always said he was a kind of 9.5. Yeah. Son corner comes in. Oh, is that at the post? Or was it a save? Might have
Ooh,
hit the...
I thought that had gone in for a second.
Toby Alderweireld, I think. Who's great in the air. Toby A,
Yeah.
brilliant in the air.
Oh, it was the Son chance. That's what Kane created, of course. The Pickford save.
Oh, that hits that. I think
that's
Pickford's
just
actually got that covered.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where he's diving into the side netting, isn't he? Yeah, just seeing the replay here, it's a decent header.
It is.
I guess it's the angle he's got to go for, and it either brushes the outside of the post or possibly hits Pickford's hand through the side netting.
Yeah.
Either way, definitely a goal kick.
Yeah, interesting that. Yeah, the Spurs set piece might be where Mourinho sees them getting in. I often think Everton can look a little bit vulnerable. Without Yerry Mina in the team as well, who's obviously a big presence in the air for them.
I guess no Mina, a goalkeeper who doesn't necessarily come out and claim with confidence, could leave you a bit open. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and that corner was great. Like you often blame corner takers for hitting the front man, but you can see why it happens so much, because if you just beat the front man, the near post header. Oh, I don't know if we've spoken about this recently, Seb. I spoke about it with someone. That near post header is arguably the best position on the field to score from a corner. And the Didier Drogba goal that won Chelsea the champs.
I think we've mentioned this a couple of times, and it's one of those, a bit like the goalkeeper taking a step on a free kick.
Yeah,
it always gets dug out on highlights. But it's one of those, well, if it was that much of a problem, do you not think the professionals would have noticed and fixed it?
Yeah.
I feel like you say, it's a percentage game where, a lot of the time it gets cut out. But if it doesn't get cut out, it's possibly the hardest corner to defend.
Yeah, if it doesn't get cut out, Toby Alderweireld does that and very nearly scores. Or Drogba wins you the champs, whatever you want to go with. Speaking of European football, Seb, just don't want to hang on it too long because we're approaching the 60-minute mark. But English teams in Champions League, Chelsea, City, extra fixtures, extra rotation, but also United in the Europa. Coleman looks like he's coming on. That'll be interesting. Will he bring Godfrey off like for like, or is he going to change the shape and go the back five?
I was wondering back five. Spurs have come into it more.
I think Iwobi comes off. I think he'll take Iwobi off and go back five.
That's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout.
I often call these shouts right. Just throwing it out there. Watch Iwobi get subbed.
The only other one unless it is like you say, just a like for like. The only one I could ever maybe think of is Tom Davies, but then I don't know who else would be. You'd then end up with probably Iwobi still trying to do a bit of a number 10 role. You'd have Hamed, you'd have Sigurdsson, you'd have Richarlison.
Too much.
It's probably not enough central midfielders in there if you do that.
It's so not going to be Iwobi now. I've said that. Look forward to, the ball's gone out. Before we move on to the United chat, let's have a look who comes on. Oh no, they're playing on. The Coleman's probably not ready, or maybe Ancelotti went. It's not 60 minutes yet, and I can't put you on till 60 because of FPL. Oh! Is that in? Is it offside?
It's a goal, but I think it's got to be offside. Richarlison, it would have been.
Oh, wow.
The flag is up. It looks definitely offside, but I guess we'll get it checked.
Please be onside. That would be funny. Oh, he's well off. I think he knows he's off as well, because his celebration kind of like... Yeah. Good finish.
Was a good finish.
Good touch.
Yeah, Come on. I mean, he's stopped celebrating before he started there, hasn't he?
Let's get this sub on so I can either shoot myself or... praise myself. Oh, okay. It is Iwobi. Yeah, 17 to 23. It's Iwobi, isn't it? Let's see him. Come on.
Nicely done.
Get on. I get more enjoyment. Thank you, Louis. Gianni knows, but I get more enjoyment out of picking lineups, getting substitutions, knowing formations than I do FPL points. Do you know why? Because I'm on 650k. That's why.
I'm glad you said it before.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to. This is the season for me getting things like that right, because I can't get anything in our actual game right. So yeah, there we are. Speaking about United, we'll touch on FPL a little bit, but before we do, who are they facing in the Europa League, and who are we cheering for? Who's Gianni supporting from now and keeping shirts on in the background until... there's been a bit of action. We'll come back to the United chat. Seb, I think I'm a second or two ahead, so I'm just going to talk you through it because I can see Everton it's a clearance from Spurs. It looks fairly comfortable, but I think there has been some action. Don't necessarily know if it's a goal, but I can see the chat is flashing loads, which means there's activity. And it's Coleman down the right, straight in. Ball comes in. Hello finish from, is that Siggy with the left foot, first time?
Ooh, that is a very nice finish.
Get on.
That was a very nice finish.
Come on.
Speaking of XG earlier, your models that take into account defender positioning and like ball height and whatnot. Is that a side foot volley on his left foot, first time, almost a crossing behind him a little bit? That was really nice. Nicely placed.
I tell you what, super sub Coleman, he's done well there. Finds some space, brilliant cross, and we know he can do that. Defending's not brilliant on out wide, and again, it's talking about left-sided centre-back, or centre-backs having to cover those wide spaces, and Dyer is not comfortable out wide. And yeah, what a finish.
They've not looked after the middle great there either. I think it might have been Alderweireld that's in the middle, but they've kind of both side centre-backs aren't there. Alderweireld has dropped deeper, and then a runner has come on into that space.
Sometimes when you see those goals go in, Seb, you look at it and go, has he scuffed it a bit? Is it off the shin? He hits that so clean. That is crisp.
Yeah, he very much places that rather than anything else.
Yeah, fair one. Great. Lucas Moura looks like he's coming on. Yeah, you're right, Anarchy. That is the Coleman of old. That's what we love. That's what made Coleman a great FPL asset a few years back.
I remember Coleman Baines double up for a little while, wasn't there? Was the one season where they were both fit and both returning?
Yeah, and Baines was on pens and free kicks, and he was just getting so many. I think Baines was 7 odd million once. Like, Baines was up there.
Yeah, there was correct me if I'm wrong, but was there a period where it was like him and John Terry were massively expensive?
And then everyone else was like 5.5.
And they probably returned far fewer points than like Trent Alexander-Arnold has done.
Yeah, and Robbo, yeah.
I mean, I know at the beginning of the season, everyone was saying I'd pay 8.5 for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Realistically, if you compare to your Baines and Terry, that probably wasn't an unfair price.
Yeah, fair point. Oh, interesting. FPL popular asset this week, Reguilon, is being subbed. Now, Reguilon has been, in terms of in the FPL community, if you're buying a Spurs defender, a lot have gone to Reguilon. Now, look, he's just got to 60 minutes, so he's fine. Oh, and of course, it's 63 minutes, and Dombele has never gone past 70 in his whole career, so he comes off too. Lucas on, Lamela on. Quite attacking. I mean, Lucas will play the number 10 role like Ndombele. Reguilon is throwing his coat. He ain't a happy bunny. And Lamela will probably play in a front three with Kane and Son. So maybe a slight change in shape, because Lamela's not going to play wing back.
Yeah, quite possibly. Still got Son going through the middle here, but we'll see how the shape changes.
Unless Lamela plays wing back.
I mean, Lamela's on the ball here inside right with Kane dropping in.
Can Lucas do that role? Maybe.
Lucas looks left at the moment, but I mean, like I say, maybe we'll see how it settles. But I don't know who's going to be on the left at this point.
We had a conversation a few weeks back about Gareth Bale, and I was just sort of telling Seb about how I felt how he was just out of favour by not just the selection, but also the substitutions. Now, Mourinho has chosen to put 2 attacking midfielders, wide forwards on, Lamela and Lucas, and again, these guys are being subbed on before your boy Gareth.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I probably held him for a week or 2 longer than I should.
Too.
I got some good returns out of him.
Yeah.
And then held him to the point where if I was wildcarding, I would even have considered him. I think I put it in an article. Then he didn't play the next day.
Yeah.
I'm still not entirely sure where that came from. But like you say, he has completely fallen out of favour. Unless I've missed something, and anyone in the chat, please shout at us. Is it just behind the scenes Mourinho picking his scapegoat again?
Yeah, I mean, it happened, Seb, off the back of the Europa League defeat. A defeat in which Bale didn't start. He came on at 60 and he played 60 because he went to extra time. But yeah, it's like, I think he's this classic Mourinho scapegoat. By the way, Paul in the chat, Son only completed 8 passes. Son has been, we've seen very little of it. Very quickly, back to the Europa League, because I want to talk about it. Arsenal, of course, are still in it. Thank you for pointing that out in the chat. But yeah, we've got 4 English teams in Europa. That will affect some minutes for some key players in FPL, so look out for that. But I just want to flag that who have United got? And who's my least favourite team? And I get a lot of stick for being anti-United. Well, do you know I'm supporting from now to the end of the season? These shirts aren't moving anywhere, baby. Come on, Roma, representing Serie A. They're going to do it. Dzeko coming back to Manchester to haunt United. Cannot wait. Pellegrini, by the way, who I know you like, Seb, scored a nice little free kick against Ajax.
Yeah, I saw that. Realistically, do you think Roma can take that? That's a no. That's a no. You would have said yes.
Do you know what? I so want to say yes, because Roma are the 7th best team in Italy at the moment. They're not having a good season. Their manager's about to be sacked. And if he's not sacked now because they're in the semi-finals, then they won't do that. But Fonseca will be out in the summer. Sarri is probably going into that job and that'll be great. They've had a lot of injuries. We know that. We can't just use that. But no, they've not been great. And they tend to always lose to the teams that are better than them. Then they beat the dross. United should be better than them, therefore they'll lose. Saying that, am I in love with United at the moment, do I think they're playing that well? I'm not overly keen. So I think Roma have got a chance. If Dzeko's fit, they've got a chance. But, Pedro, Mkhitaryan, it's Premier League old boys. We could see a front three of Mkhitaryan, Pedro and Dzeko, for God's sake. So, yeah, I hope they can pull a few surprises. I wouldn't actually be surprised. So do I think they can win? I'm going to say yes. But I wouldn't back them.
From an FPL perspective, I'd quite like Man United to stay in just because if it keeps Bruno Fernandes and their other assets stretched. I have Luke Shaw, but I don't have Bruno. I don't want to get Bruno, not because I dislike him, just because it doesn't quite suit the structure of the team and I don't want to have to remake it just to get a player that everyone else owns anyway, especially when I'm further behind.
Yeah.
So I'd quite like to keep taking advantage of not having owned Bruno for a very long time.
Fair enough. Do you have Salah?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't had Salah or Bruno for a very long time.
I really want to get Salah in.
I'm also ranked 200k, so ask me how that's going.
Oh, I think there's been a bit of activity. We'll come to that in a sec. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to look at the chat, but I think I can see a lot of flashing out the corner of my eye.
It's a Spurs throw on the right, I think, here, although you're slightly ahead. So
No, give it to... No, please go, Seb, but I think we're on the same anyway.
Just waiting for the throw to be taken at the moment here, so don't know if there's anything particularly dangerous. It almost looks like they're holding it in the corner on Lamela. Ball into the box, which, you've seen. Harry Kane has scored, amazing finish. But he's been gifted the opportunity for that amazing finish by, I think, an Everton player heading it into the back of another Everton player when they probably both shouldn't have gone for it.
Yeah.
That was not dissimilar to the first goal.
I
do believe that's Lamela. I think it's Lamela from that side who swung it in.
Left foot.
He hasn't laid it off, has he? Yeah, he has. And that's kind of a hopeful cross. It's not, speaking of putting it into areas, he's just put it on the penalty spot. It is nowhere near Kane. Kane is stood still. He's given up on it. He's waiting for a mistake, as all good strikers are, but he's given up on it. And it is headed in his direction by an Everton mistake. It is, you see that angle, Keane. He shouts for it. But it's so low. Holgate's already gone up and missed it.
Yeah.
And maybe Holgate should have left it if he's heard that shout. But he's already missed it. Keane is committed, still goes, heads it like quite low into the back of Holgate, and it just falls to Kane, who admittedly puts away a beautiful finish into the top corner. Pickford has no chance.
Who gets does Lamela get an assist for that, Seb? He shouldn't.
So
the ball is intended for Kane, so okay. The ball is travelling in that direction, but it's not just taking a nick.
My issue with the intended thing, and like if it's consistent with FPL, absolutely fair enough. If you make a rule and you're consistent with it, fine. But my issue with the intended thing is whenever someone shoots, they intend to score. Whenever I pass, I intend to assist. But I failed to do so. So I'm not really sure. A small deflection, I guess that's why they brought it in. A small nick or something that doesn't change the intended direction. Fair enough. That one there, of course, Lamela has tried to assist Kane, but he's failed. Yeah. He doesn't assist Kane. The Everton players create the goal. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that one not be a Lamela assist.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing that. Obviously we did see that first one go down as an assist, and rightly so. It was a little nick. So I think I've just seen a tweet that popped up saying non, but sometimes it does say non, and then it changes. So let us know if we see that changing. Guys, that's going to have a massive swing in bonus points. Well, Kane is almost certainly on 3 now. So Kane is up to 60 in the BPS. Siggy is on 54. And then it's James who's getting the 1. Lloris is behind. If there was a fourth bonus point awarded, or a 4-3-2-1, Lloris would be on 1, but he's just ranking outside.
What do we need from Lloris then? Maybe just a couple more saves?
I think 2 more saves.
James to give the ball away, or is there enough distance for it to be on Lloris?
No, Lloris is on 16, James 24. It's a considerable difference. There's 8 in the BPS behind, but there's no one in between that.
We probably need James to be subbed off and Lloris to be making saves, I guess, then.
Yeah, he's not made a save in the second half, has he, Seb? We were on 4 at half time, weren't we?
Come to mention it, I think you might be right there. That probably does sum up the second half. Apart from the one chance that Everton have scored, it has all been Tottenham. Going back to the formation as well, Lucas Moura really does. Son with a shot, it's blocked. Lucas Moura does. Oh no, I thought Everton were going to do it again. Son. And Harry Kane hits the post.
Yeah, does that touch the post, or does Pickford get a save?
It looked like the post to me from the way it bounced. I'm not sure Pickford got there. It's one for people listening as well. It's one of those that it isn't going in until it hits the post. It isn't that close. It hits the outside of the post. It's always a bit wide and high. Created by Lucas Moura from the left. It's a good header. Yeah, he's just trying to loop that over. Pickford, there's definitely the post. I don't think, if it is a little more narrow, maybe Pickford doesn't have it covered. He's not a mile off there. But yeah, just saying that Lucas Moura looking like he's playing, I don't know if it's quite left wing back, but he is coming from the left.
Yeah.
So either they're going to be very exposed on that side, or they've got Eric Dyer and Lucas Moura lining up.
Yeah, I mean, they're already exposed on that side, as we saw for the Everton goal. So to be playing Lucas as a wing-back, but going, okay, we're going to have the ball, therefore you won't be back, you'll be wing.
I mean, if you look at it, how they're set up here, it's not even... Lucas Moura's in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
A wing-back could tuck in there, but I don't think we'd see Luca Dean doing it if he was on the other side. So it's almost like he is playing this inside left, not quite number 10 role, and then I guess he has to fill the left channel when Everton are attacking.
And he's gone, you know what, you've got half an hour... You usually play for me 70 minutes and you're quick. So for half an hour, you can cover those two positions.
Yeah.
Run your socks off, boy.
And he apparently trusts Eric Dyer to do something that I don't think anyone else sees Eric Dyer doing.
Yeah, other than Gareth. Geez, those that are on triple captain, guys.
Oh, nice. And another one to come as well. What a nice position to be in.
You're on 30 points already.
What a nice position to be in. Was that Tobes' triple captain in Kane, is he?
My whole mini league, mate.
Oh dear.
There's 6 of us, and I've just looked. 4 of triple captain Kane.
At least you don't go on air and on TV every other month or week to talk about it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
all right.
right?
Yeah, you haven't written a book. It's fine. It's all good.
What's funny is 4 of the mini league, 3 of which are above me, are casuals, and they've literally gone triple captain because Toby has. It's ridiculous. And they've all got the same team, boring, template, whatever.
Fair enough.
A little bit of a scuffle with Charlison involved, of course. Rodon giving it some. These teams need to win today, guys. We said about the top 4. I mean, they're probably both kissing goodbye to it anyway. But 73 minutes gone, 2-2. If you don't win today, you can kiss goodbye to top 4 if you can't already.
Having a look at how the league stands at the moment, we've got Tottenham in 7th and Everton in 8th on 50 and 49 points respectively. Obviously, they've played a game more than everyone else, although Everton will still have that one in hand later. But realistically, it's not even... I guess you're looking at that from a points point of view. Even if Tottenham win, they'll be on 52, level with Liverpool, just behind Chelsea on 54 and West Ham on 55.
Yeah.
But it's not even a points thing. You know, when you look at it like this, there's quite a lot of positions and good teams between it. Mm-hmm. You know, Tottenham could go and earn a bunch of points between now and the end of the season and maybe achieve a points total that you might expect to get top 4.
Yeah.
But there are 3 or 4 other teams that have got to do worse to allow that to happen. I think Tottenham have got good fixtures at the end of the season, which possibly means they don't have any of those teams coming up. So it might already be out of their hands.
Yeah. Yeah, it might. It's going to be a great end to the season. I'm really excited. I'm a bit disappointed at the bottom of the table because of relegation. I really thought Fulham were going to do it, and now I'm thinking they're not, which is a shame. They've had they needed to beat Wolves. They lost in the last minute. How do you see that going, Seb? Sort of relegation. Is it over? Because obviously, then we'll talk about the top of the table. But at the bottom, is it set? West Brom got a chance out of nowhere.
I mean, again, I think there's too far between where they are now and what they need to stay up. It's always the boring answer, isn't it? When you look at the bottom of the table and go, yeah, those 3 teams are bad. They don't have many points. They're probably the ones that are going down. We do sometimes see those upsets, but I don't really see anything coming from either side. They need Newcastle, Burnley. I don't think, even though Brighton are on the same points as Burnley, I don't think Brighton will fall in there. They really need Newcastle or Burnley to implode. And even then, West Brom and Sheffield United probably don't have enough about them. And like you say, Fulham have possibly too little, too late, and now dropping off.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Top 4 race, how you feel? How are you thinking? Are Leicester going to hold? I mean, if let's assume that both Manchester clubs are in there. Do we assume Chelsea are as well? I mean, I would, but you may think differently.
Well, currently Chelsea aren't, so I think assuming would be dangerous there. But Leicester, we saw last season them give it away, probably because of injuries, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they are seeing injuries again. We saw them not quite put in the performance you want against West Ham. I know they came back toward the end.
Still
lost.
A
comment on West Ham, but yeah, I think I saw that being a much lower scoring game with Leicester being the better side, and the opposite of both those things happened.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see Leicester dropping out of that. They've got some okay fixtures, and then they turn a bit tougher towards the end after 34, 35.
Yeah.
West Ham probably have the slightly better fixtures out of those two.
They do.
But they are possibly relying on a ridiculous Jesse Lingard at the moment. Jared Bowen doing well. if there's anyone who you would think are going to have to perform better than everyone around them to keep it up, it's West Ham.
And they play Chelsea next week.
Yeah. So Chelsea-Liverpool seems like the most likely outcome, but then maybe I'm falling to that bias we spoke about earlier, right? High-priced players do well and big-name teams do well.
Yeah. Do you know what? Liverpool out of Europe, for me, nails them for top four. And, we shouldn't assume, we shouldn't say nail, but I'm going to go with it. I think if they were still in the champs, I'd give Leicester, I'd give West Ham a chance. But they're not in the FA Cup, so they don't have the semi-finals like Chelsea do, for example. They don't have the Champions League. Just they'll be fresh each week. That actually, for the first time this season, Liverpool are going to get some time on the training ground. Like they've not had that.
A few years ago under Klopp, when they sort of reinvented themselves, that's what they had. They were playing once a week, had a whole 5 days or so to work with Klopp, and we saw them become the team they are now.
Yeah, fair. So I think Liverpool get there. I actually could see Liverpool finishing third. I don't think they're going to lose many games. I'm desperate to somehow get Salah. And next week, by the way, guys, game week 33, which is a blank. So, of course, no City, no Chelsea, no Spurs. Where are you all going to put your armband? If you looked at that, it's going to be everyone. The world and his dog are going to be on Salah if they own Salah. If they don't own Salah, then yes, Bruno travels to Leeds, but that's not an easy game to predict. And Bruno would have played a lot of minutes in the Europa. I'm probably going to go Jota captain, but, I'd much rather go Salah because he's more expensive.
So would you... Yeah, I think Leeds, a bit like the City game when everyone was captaining Sterling, that wasn't... Not a terrible shot by any means, especially if you didn't have any other options, but that wasn't the one for me just because Sterling's record this season hasn't been that sterling. And
Nice.
And Leeds' defensive stats have really improved. Like before the Man City game, we were 7th in the league for... XGC obviously dropped a bit after conceding a few to City, but it was only about 2 XG or something like that. We put up a decent defensive performance. I fully expect us to lose to Liverpool and Man United, but I'm not sure we're going to concede the same number of goals, which is 4 and 6, I think we did earlier in the season.
Depends if McTominay plays.
yeah, Captain McTominay, there's your answer. So, I think Liverpool's the obvious one. I don't have Salah. I'd look at Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I actually think that's where I'm going to.
He is back to silly numbers, even against Real Madrid. He created something 5-6 chances.
And Newcastle aren't scoring.
Passes.
So the 6 points is safe, surely.
Yeah. So, I'd go.
Son's got space here. Plays it into Kane. Kane's going to shift and shoot. He does exactly that. Pickford gets there. It's blocked. Kane does that. Shift and shoot near post a lot from that angle. And he goes for the near post again. There was a bit too much traffic to go near post, arguably. But, James down. Doesn't look happy.
Was he the one caught there just coming into the box? Or is this further up the pitch?
I don't know.
I'd be surprised if he's in that position, I guess.
I mean, fair play if he is. 79 minutes in, James still running. No, I think he's on the halfway line.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it?
Ooh, crunch and tackle there on James. How's that not a free kick?
It's what created the chance, isn't it? Was it Lamela comes in? He probably does win the ball, but he takes a lot of James.
It's Lamela.
And then, it falls to Kane and Son. Like you say, possibly just too many bodies there.
Lamela to put an Aggie tackle in was almost a banker. If you're a betting man, you'd be going there.
I'd love to be on Lamela's team.
Yeah, it's great.
He has the talent, he has that technique, but he also just he doesn't give.
Yeah,
he
doesn't.
Good. It's so good.
He's great. I love him. I think I've told the story before, I was so adamant that when he came to the Premier League, off the Gareth Bale money, by the way, they bought loads of players, and he's the only one still left, including Capu was one of the 7 midfielders they bought to replace Bale. And Lamela they paid 30 odd million from Roma.
And he was really good.
So good, Seb. He was amazing that season. There's a reason why he went for 35 million. And I was so adamant in FPL he'd be good. I paid 9.5 million or 9 million game week 1, and I left like Werner. He was in my team for the first 10 weeks, and he was dropping in price every week, and I was going, nah, this guy's mustard. And I actually think he was injured a lot of it. But shame he's had so many injuries, because on his day, we've seen with the goals, haven't we? We've seen his highlights reel is phenomenal. But football is more than that. Points dropped in the final 10 minutes. The most this season, Spurs. They have dropped 11 points in the last 10 minutes of a game. Will we see it again?
So potentially see something here then.
Come on, Tom Davis.
Speaking of which, just lays it through their little deflection and Lloris comes and gathers it. I'd like a save for that, please.
It was going in, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Potentially we're seeing what we quoted earlier in the show, Tottenham's defensive numbers not actually being that impressive.
Yeah. I mean, we did warn was it off air or on air? We sort of said about Hugo and Spurs' defensive numbers. And then, they've gone and conceded 2 to Everton, who, without Calvert-Lewin, especially against Brighton, they let Naff up front. They offered nothing going forward. So fair play. Today they have looked better, but all of Spurs made them look good.
Son on the counter here, over to Lamela coming through. I think he's just about lost that, possibly overrun it. There was a lot of space there. I feel like Lamela had the early option back to Son and then possibly Kane, chose to run it himself and got tackled, and Everton are now breaking through the middle with Richarlison. You'd hope Spurs have got this covered. They have indeed. Rodon puts it out for, I think, a corner.
He is isolated at times there, Richarlison, with that long out ball, but he does seem to always get on the end of them. Lamela, Josh King is coming on. Finally getting some game time. And it's not a Wobie coming off because he's already off.
Who's this one for then?
Sorry, is Duncan Ferguson doing the board?
He seems to be holding it.
What's he doing? I never see that. Is he going to put it up? Go on, Dunk. I'm getting a photo. That's a tweet.
He does have the numbers on it.
That's so funny.
Is he allowed to do that?
The assistant's next to him. Like, what, has he got something wrong with are his arms injured or something? Oh, Son looks like he's well covered. Come on, let's see Duncan again. I'm camera at the ready because I'm like, yes, it is. What's going on? I can't deal. That is so good.
And it is indeed Tom Davies off.
Big dunk. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting distracted because that is Duncan Ferguson holding up the ball. That's just classic.
So both teams, I guess, have resulted here to just throwing more forwards on. We've seen Lamela come on, Lucas Moura come on for Spurs, and them lose probably a wing back. Everton have now taken off a central midfielder for Josh King.
Yeah. I'm so distracted. Hang on a sec. I'm just trying to find a blue heart on my emojis. There we go. Tweet. Done. That was too good an opportunity not to.
Coleman long shot. It's a long way wide. But he lined that up nicely. I thought for a second.
Coleman. Could you imagine scoring from there? Coleman super sub or what?
I feel like he's got that in his locker.
Yeah, he hits a ball quite clean.
Maybe once or twice.
He's not done it much. But hello. Everton have got space here. Is that Josh King?
That's James on the ball, I believe.
Ooh!
Josh King in. Ooh. Oh.
That's one where...
James plays Josh King in, hits it really straight at Lloris. He does well, but it comes off his knee straight to Richarlison, who just takes it first time. Harry Kane will put it in the top corner. Richarlison puts it in row Z.
By the way, that was Højbjerg that gave the ball away in the middle. Just remember that, Spurs fans, who tell me that he's the best thing since sliced bread because you've been rubbish and that's all you can... be happy about this season.
That's not a great finish from Richarlison. I mean, it's coming at him fast and our players closing him down. He's not too far out. He goes for first time and I think he goes for power. Seems to maybe try and side foot it hard, but really just slices that, doesn't he? And it goes pretty high off.
Is that one that we can say, Seb, he should score from there?
No, I'm not doing it.
Go on.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, I love that. Why? So, Pete, I'm on Twitter. Sorry, guys, the distraction's unprofessional. I know. Do I regret not triple captaining Kane today, Gianni? Obviously, but do I have a triple captain? No, I don't. So, no.
I'll take my 12 KDB points from several months ago. Thank you very much.
Yeah, where he hit the bar and got injured in both games of the double. He got injured.
Yeah, that felt. I mean, long time ago now, a lot has changed and a lot has happened since, but that definitely felt a little unfortunate. Hey, if I knew Tottenham were having a double at this stage with Kane in form and the two teams they were facing not too tough, sure, I would have held it, but I didn't know that at the time. KDB looked like a good option with some decent fixtures and it was there for the taking.
Exactly. I'm with you all day long. Let's have a look at some bonus points. Lloris, after that save, that gets him to 5 saves. No, I don't think so. Oh, okay. No, he's 2 behind.
Okay,
James.
so...
James on 21, Lloris 19.
Okay, so Lloris gets another save here for 2 save points, 2 for turning up. Obviously, Luz was 1 for conceding goals, so not great. He gets 3 points.
3 points.
Let's give him 1 bonus for the best because he's made another save. So he comes out of this with 4 points. Keeps a clean sheet next in the week. That wouldn't be terrible.
No, not at all. But you are giving him a save point and a bonus point that he hasn't already got. And there's only 4 minutes left.
Good point. Well made.
Oh, brilliant. It's the 4 minutes left bit that got me. Like, that's his first save in the whole second half he's just made. He's had 40 minutes of that.
I've just seen that Everton have had 16 shots, but Lloris has made, 5 saves? So,
yeah.
I feel like it doesn't feel like a game where a team have had 16 shots.
No. It doesn't at all. I mean, it's low quality, I guess, a lot of them. But
Yeah.
Come on, Everton. You're right, though. We will get an extra save point if one more save, and we will almost certainly get a bonus with that. So come on. Come on, Hugo. Get us 2 points.
I know this is a very stupid thing to say, but it's 2-2. Everton have brought on a forward. They do seem to be pushing slightly more than Spurs.
Yeah, they're the one that's going for the win.
We would expect a Lloris save or another goal, right? One of those two things is what Everton are going for.
Yeah,
so
fair.
I don't feel horrible about him getting another save.
I feel... Do you know what? Maybe not. Do you know what I feel? I feel like we are going to get a save or a goal from one of the teams. But to say it's from Everton, I'm not sure. Like, I wouldn't...
We're about this close to saying, if that had been on target, it would have been a goal.
So true. Come on, Everton. All the neutrals out there want Everton to win, right? Let us know in the chat. Who do you want to win this football match? Now, many of you might have a hidden agenda. You might be an Arsenal fan or whatever. But if you just want it for pure value, you want Mourinho to be throwing his toys out the pram because it was never a penalty, because we will see that. Don't you worry about that. Mourinho's probably going to have a run at refereeing and probably get a ban for it. He's gonna, if he loses today or even off the draw, expect Mourinho to go absolute ape after that penalty was given. I can't wait for his press conference.
Do you think he survives into next season?
Oh, no chance. The only problem is it's expensive to get rid of him at the moment. His contract's long. Levy's doesn't want. There's been talk of Sarri.
What at Spurs?
And I've just mentioned he's favourite to take over at Roma, and I can see that. But the money will be brilliant at Spurs, of course. Oh, Everton have got a bit of space here. James plays it out to Dean. Now there's a bit of time to get back. Plays it back to James in the box. Corner ball. Come on, Everton.
Tell you who I think has been good quietly today is Luca Dean, and not from an FPL's perspective. I think he's created only one or two real half chances, and obviously has conceded 2 goals. But he has dominated that left flank pretty well. Not the Spurs have really given him much up there, but he's defended. How many times have we seen it's Luca Dean making a block or Luca Dean recovering? Yeah. And going forward, he's offered those options as well.
He has, and he always does. And what we haven't seen from Luca Dean today is brilliant delivery and set pieces and stuff, because he's not had too many opportunities. But actually, both defensively and offensively with the ball, and positionally, he's been really good. Yeah. And he is a very sound defender for a bloke that isn't ever seen as someone that can defend. Like, often we look at Dean and go, everything he offers is going forward, but actually he's really sound at the back too. And I'm actually really disappointed for him that Spurs, United and Chelsea all bought left backs last season and not one of them bought Luca Dean.
Yeah, although maybe doing Everton a slight disservice there in terms of they probably had some of the better signings out of all those clubs, so I don't think they're about to challenge for the title, but
and there's
still a good chance Luca Dean, gets his Champions League football and has a good team around him. He's got James, he's got Doucouré, he's got Allen, he's got Richarlison, he's got Calvert-Lewin. That is a good team around him.
Yeah, I mean, they've not had brilliant results of late, and they were shocking on Monday night. But Everton, absolute value tonight. They deserve to win this football match. Like, look at the Spurs goals, arguably both errors.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Everton have got a dodgy penalty, but Everton have been all over them. I think really well.
The beginning of the first half, it was definitely Spurs. Like, I think we said, Lloris hadn't made a save all half or something. Everton have come into it more. I think they were probably the better team in the first half, probably the better team now. Maybe they're pushing a bit more. I'd have to think about it. I think, maybe Everton have been slightly better, but I'm not sure how much I'm basing just on the last 10 minutes of that.
Come on. James.
Oh, in here, James again as well, laying it through.
Oh, it's too wide. Too wide.
Is that Josh King there?
Yeah, it's Josh. Josh out of practice corner. King. Another corner. There's 3 minutes added time only, so we've got 2 minutes. And by the way, James' bonus has dropped from 21 to 20. He must have given a ball away. So Hugo is 1 BPS away from hitting bonus.
Go on. James has been good tonight as well. I mean, we've mentioned a few.
He's been great.
But Tottenham have given him the space to just be able to do what he does, which is turn and create stuff.
Is that another corner or is that a goal kick?
That's a goal kick I think he's given them.
Michael Keane in amongst it. There's only one team that wants to win this.
I was about to say, you would think this was 3-2 to Tottenham.
Yeah. That Spurs are hanging on. Oh, there's a lot of... I wish that'd be... Michael Keane's shirt is ripped off him. It won't be given, but...
No, we saw that a little while ago, didn't we? And I guess we've kind of chilled out on the whole shirt holding in the area at corners now, haven't we, for penalties?
Oh, is Harry Kane all right?
I was going to say, Harry Kane is a little limp and he's gone down onto his haunches. Possibly just one of those, take him off, there's 2 minutes, he's fine for the next match. But he doesn't look happy.
And it's very un-Harry Kane to go down with 2 minutes left.
Just to say as well, I don't think he's wasting time here.
No.
He hasn't gone down. He's like crouched over. I think he just is. Oh, you seen the replay there?
No.
So as that corner came in, I think it was the held shirt. He rolls his ankle. If that's Michael Keane, I think he falls onto his ankle.
His glass ankles. His ankles that.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, his ankles.
I don't know if it's enough to just like properly damage his ankle. Maybe just a bit of a.
Watch him walk off, Seb. Watch him walk.
Oh mate, after mentioning KDB earlier, triple captains have got 2 goals, but you'd want so much more.
Yeah. Also, the poor bloke, he never gets to play in finals. Spurs don't get to finals. One. And they've got a final in a few days' time.
And you'd probably say that's their chances gone if he's not fit.
When is that football match?
I am not even sure. Oh, I think that might have been Hammers has gone close again there. No save, unfortunately.
Oh, damn. Right, let's have a look at the Spurs fixtures then. Let's get some dates because I'm not sure if the way Harry Kane's walked off, he ain't going to be playing in a week.
It is the 25th of April. So.
And before that.
9 days?
And before that, they've got Southampton on Wednesday.
On the 21st, yeah.
Okay, he's wrapped
wrap
him up in cotton wool for Southampton then.
21st,
yeah. And also, with a draw tonight, they're out of the top 4 anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if he's actually okay, of course he plays. But if there's, and if he's out for 3 months, of course he doesn't play. If he looks like, needing a few days to recover, you probably give him Southampton off, don't you? It would be...
It's Southampton who are on the beach, who just lost to Burnley, or whoever they lost to recently and got outplayed. West Brom.
Full time.
Mourinho's not a happy bunny. Giving Ancelotti a bit of love, and I like that. Respect between 2 managers that, at their best, were as good as it got. But perhaps both over the hill.
So Harry Kane is walking around the back of the goal. I'm guessing he just walked straight off the pitch rather than going to the dugout, shaking his head. Doesn't look happy. Admittedly, he could be shaking his head because 2-2 hasn't got the result he wants. He is walking without help, but he does not look like a happy man.
He doesn't. He does, however, go home with 2 goals, 3 bonus. For those that have triple captain. Oh, hello. Siggy, equal bonus, 58 and 58. So that they could both get 3. At the moment, they're both getting 3. But often we do see changes in the BPS. So one of them could be moved to a 2. What does it mean if both get 3? Do they only just give 1 to a 2?
Yeah, there's
no 1.
It goes 3 and 1. I think they skipped the 2.
Okay, so James will get 1. James is 1 in front of Dyer and Lloris, who are tied. So the BPS will be going to Kane, James and Siggy if things stay the same. But yeah, those that are looking for Harry Kane to step up against Southampton, I don't think he's going to be risked. And I'm going to say it early because we've seen what happens with Kane glass ankles. It needs resting.
I mean, it's a funny one. I take no joy in this. There's probably no one who's triple captained Harry Kane that needed that to beat me. So, I take no joy in that. But it does feel like one of those, a bit like the KDB one earlier in the season. On one hand, you've got 2 goals from your triple captain, so shouldn't you be happy?
Yeah.
But no, because I already had those 2 goals. That was in the bag. I could have had a whole nother match. So it certainly feels unfortunate for those people.
A whole nother match, which is against Southampton, I think, at home. That's the one fixture you were probably targeting for your points. I don't think many expected Kane to go big tonight because Everton have been quite solid. So for them to get 2 tonight was a bonus, and then the Southampton was the banker.
Leeds are on 45 points. Tottenham are on 50. Leeds have 1 game in hand.
Oh, wow.
What do you reckon?
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I think Tottenham have better fixtures. Definitely in the next few. We've got a decent end to the season, but I wouldn't expect it, but that'd be good fun.
It would be. Shame the Leeds goal difference is 0 because goal difference effectively will count as a point should there be anyone tied, which there's a good chance Leeds will finish level on points with someone around that area. Yeah. And a great end of the season, Leeds. Look, if you've got Rafinha or Bamford, still keep your eyes on those assets. I've just sold Bamford, but I do have Rafinha. Yeah. Great run in.
Just looking at the Sky, I've obviously got the fixtures up for the weekend now. Question for you, which I reckon I know the answer to, but about a year ago, when this all started, football like this, I kind of really liked every match being on, especially after in Germany. Watching it all live, it was brilliant. Getting fully involved in it. I'm kind of done with it. Firstly, I kind of lose my whole weekend to it now. Because I feel like I need to be tapped into it, and it is 8 hours for an entire day.
Yeah.
And then secondly, when there's just a poor match on or just something that doesn't really capture me, I really miss having 3 or 4, just a few more at once, where there's a few things happening,
Yeah.
It really drags out weekends and feels like it doesn't quite deliver the excitement I want out of it.
It's often a little bit underwhelming. You're right. Like, I'm genuinely watching 10 Premier League games a weekend, which is ridiculous. But I've now started in the last couple of months, started to pick my matches wisely to which ones I'm watching on the big screen, which ones I've been listening with audio. And half of them now I'm watching on the laptop with my wife on the sofa whilst we're watching an ITV drama. And I'm fully tuned into that, and I'm glancing at the football, which I'm actually quite enjoying because it's painfully slow at the moment. And yes, you're right, Seb, it is can potentially ruin a weekend, but it's sort of wasting a weekend. But the only saving grace has been, okay, I'm not able to do much anyway, so it's fine. But if this was in normal life, then I would be really struggling, because I'd be like, I want to go and see my mates or go shopping or whatever,
Yeah. I'd imagine the viewing figures will go down significantly, if we're still all allowed to go out a weekend sensibly and whatnot in the next few weeks.
Hang on a sec. Kevin in the chat has just said Hugo on for a bonus. So let's have a little update.
Oh, go on.
Oh, James dropped to 19. So we have got Sigurdsson, who's gone to 3, Kane to 2. So Sigurdsson 59, Kane 58. James, Dyer and Lloris all on 19. Interesting.
So we would get one.
So
Cheeky.
Kane triple captainers have just lost 3 points.
say that with a little more glee, a little more continental glee.
Dear. I've captained Kane. I should be happy. It's just my mini league, and I'm not even. I've got 98 unread messages in that mini league.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. I'll be muting that one. So, guys, thank you for watching. It's been brilliant. It's been fun as always. Like, often we do these and we pick the right game. And again, we've picked the right game. It's been great. We've got a good run of that at the moment. And many of you have been with us through it. And not just this week, but a big thank you for those that have been watching for the last few weeks and for the last few months and been with us throughout lockdown. This is one of my highlights of the week, is when I come on and I chat to Seb and we have a good game of football and just chat FPL. So do tell your mates about it. Do tweet about it. Do comment on this video. Do like this video. Do subscribe, because we want you guys coming back week on week, because we look forward to seeing you. So thank you. And Seb, final message from you before we look forward to the rest of the game week.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to drop in there as well that Az has put together a survey for the Scout members area, which I believe you'll be able to find on the website or by going to Fantasy Football Scouts Twitter. If not, tag me on Twitter and I'll try and find it for you. But I would say definitely fill it in. Hopefully, it's something that Scout can then take forward and improve the members area. Listen to what people want. Too much Seb, too much Gianni on a Friday night.
Oh God!
I think that's one of the questions in there. So
Oh God!
So tell the team what it is you want, what you like, what you don't like, and hopefully, Az in his new role, can move to improving the Scout for everyone.
That's great. There's going to be loads of comments. Can Gianni stop banging on about his book? Or can Gianni stop dropping in that he goes on the FPL show or something like that? Great. Guys, make sure you do that. That's brilliant. And also, little top tip, for any of you that follow Az on Twitter, give him a tweet and let him know that you're desperate to see him on the next Scoutcast match day, because I'm trying to get him on for a show. And with the occasional tweet, I think he'll come on. So good stuff, guys. It's been fun speaking to you. We'll be back with you next game week for the blank. So take care. See you soon. Bye, guys. We're out of there. I just did my bye.